welcome to the Wild Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Richey. Over that way is DZ. I represent, obviously, the Broncos, in case you couldn't tell from the shirt. We got DZ over there representing his Los Angeles Chargers. And down below, filling in for Jack Henna, always like having him on the show, we have 93 Nabban from Raider Shield Family. You can catch his shows on the YouTube. And today's show is also streaming live on his channel as well. So we have some interesting stuff to discuss on today's show. We had the divisional games, if you will, for Week 18 with some interesting results. We've obviously had some news. Don't worry, we're going to cover all that too. And then we're going to get into a little bit of a preview in terms of the week or the look ahead for DZ and his Chargers in the playoffs. So, without further ado, I think we may as well. There's some comedy in there somewhere. Nabman, you're on mute, which is probably a good thing because I may or may not have wanted to hear what you had to say at the end of that comment.
Don't hold it against me. My children are here. Taino's one of the good ones, man. He's good people. No kidding. And he's fun.
So, may as well just throw over to you, Nabman, and talk about the Raiders. Get right into it in terms of the Raiders versus Chiefs, how that game went down, the outcome, and all that good stuff. So we'll get right into it.
Well, I'll tell you what, in a season like we've had, if there could be a dream scenario on how it all went down, the Giants going out and stomping the living crap out of the Cowboys, and the Raiders being able to play some rookies and get some folks in there and get some playing time and stuff like that, and them get an opportunity to win without any repercussion against the Chiefs. So the opportunity for those young folks to actually that were involved in the game to celebrate in the locker room instead of it sucking for them. And I think that's great for the organization. I really do. 9-6, I'm not that's what it is. But anytime you have an opportunity to beat the Chiefs and it's not detrimental to what you're trying to do, it's a beautiful thing. To me, that's pretty much it as far as that's concerned. I know that was pretty quick, huh?
Richie's on mute. He's eating his steak.
Sorry, the steak. I can't. I don't want everyone to hear me eating the steak, but at the same time, I need to eat the steak. Like that's a good steak.
Nav, I needed you to put in more input on your game because I didn't watch a lick of your guys' game.
There wasn't a whole lot of flash and flare in that game, but there were some sparks of some pancake blocks from Rodgers. Rodgers put people on their ass the entire game when he was in there. Grant had a couple of nice, big time aggressive blocks. It was obvious they were told that you're going to be aggressive, don't care about penalties, just be smart. We're going to try to win this ball game. It's the Chiefs. We need to win this ball game. We don't have it. Don't think tank. Don't listen to all this crap. And it makes me wonder if they would have won 9-6, whether the Giants won or not. I don't know.
Yeah, really. So it's like even if you guys won, I think there was like confusion with probably other fan bases about the Raiders. Like even if you guys won, it wasn't messing up your draft position. Well, you guys had that locked down at number one.
We did. So winning that ball game was something they should go in and try to
do.
Yep. Yeah.
There was even some confusion actually from the national media in the early stages of that game when the Raiders had kind of gone ahead, if you will.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the national media folks were like, the Raiders better be careful. They're going to lose the number one pick. I'm like,
they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm like that you've just told on yourself. Congratulations. Like
Right.
You just told me that like you actually don't know what you're doing. Like you get paid
Right.
to for a living. It's
Right.
the only thing you do for money, and you can't even stay on top of like the basics. Right?
Yep.
Like so anyways, it's good for you. Congratulations overall. I think that it's probably one of the best things that could have happened given how the season went for the Raiders, right?
Absolutely.
Like once you get to a certain point, you kind of just have to say, I'd rather own it all the way and then retool and rebuild, because if I only go part of the way there, you end up kind of where the Steelers are at, where they're struggling to field a competitive team because their coach is so good that he keeps them competitive through most of the season. But
Mhm.
they've been able to properly retool the team because they're not drafting high enough.
Boy, did Mike Tomlin and the Steelers get lucky against their game.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Loop owes them some money.
And it cost Harbaugh his job. I have no doubt.
Yep. I mean, I've been all over that news with Harbaugh and reasonings. Like, so, they've, like Richie kind of alluded to, I don't know if that was before the show or at the start of it, like saying like he's surprised that Pete got fired. And then now if you look at John in in Baltimore, it was a mutual, agreement for departure, which I don't think it was 100% mutual, obviously. Him being there for 18 years or what it was. But the story I'm getting is that they wanted to move off of Monken. He wouldn't move off of Monken, and
most of his staff. They wanted to like wipe his staff out from underneath there, and
he was.
I think Harbaugh said no, it ain't happening.
They want to get their electric Lamar back, I guess, is what it essentially alludes to. But look, that's a hot name now. I mean, that's probably 1A, or if not the best head coaching candidate, right now.
Stefanski probably number 2.
Everybody's got,
just because.
We'll see. I mean, Stefanski's up there as well. That's probably I don't know. We're not going to talk about this right now, but him or Kubiak are probably my guesses that go to Las Vegas. If I were to guess right now.
Yeah,
we'll go there. I have a whole novel written over here.
So I had a couple questions now, man. Maybe just like rapid fire a few things.
Sure.
Rodgers, offensive lineman. His name has cropped up actually 3-4 weeks now since he started. Heard some grumblings in terms of quality of blocks, quality of play, that sort of thing. Does certainly add fuel to the fire in terms of why Mr. Carroll and hopefully the other Mr. Carroll is also gone soon as well. A twofer can go as far as Raiders Nation is concerned, and I get it. Trust me, I totally get it. But he did well. You had another rookie, and I'm going to be honest, his name escapes me. He was, I think, an international player who killed it in preseason. How did he do? Lockie, yeah. How did he do?
He didn't.
That's kind of disappointing from my perspective. Like, I'm disappointed for you, if that makes sense. Because getting a young rookie like that in there playing, especially a young guy in a game that didn't really matter all that much, like overall, it would have been ideal to get him some playing time, in my opinion, as well. I'm sure you probably agree with me on that front. Because you can't have, if you got 2 quality guards that are sitting on your bench and you only have actually seen one of them play live in a game, that puts you at a disadvantage overall from a team analysis perspective.
Yeah, I think I get the reasoning behind Lockie Tassi not being on the active roster much. He doesn't know the game of football as the NFL game of football.
Yeah.
I've been told that he took some practice squad like crackbacks and stuff that dang near ended his season because he's not paying. He doesn't know how to avoid those things. And I, even with Pete Carroll, I think it is more of a concern of his own personal health being out there. Even though he's a big, massive human being, he just, I mean, there's people that are smaller than him are going to try to take him out. And he really doesn't know how to avoid those things. Take his foot out of the turf, if he needs to, take his feet out of the turf. Somebody goes low, that type of thing. I can see him possibly getting some hardcore reps. So I heard a rumor that Richie Incognito has reached out to the dude and like personally trained with him. Started personally training with him.
Wow.
So to me, if that's true, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So I'm all about that. Richie Incognito is one of the.
I don't like it.
He's one of the
don't like it.
Offensive linemen ever built, man. And that's what Tossie would be. Tossie would be one of those nasty ones that would just clear.
Now this is going to be like to see if this future regime keeps him, keeps that international player on the roster next season, going into next season. We shall see.
I'll take him. You can send him over to Denver like today. Like right now, I'm totally cool. I will take him right now immediately.
And the beauty is that March 11th, when waivers hit for free agency, everybody on everybody's practice squad is a waiver player that didn't play, that didn't start in the regular season. Yeah. So
he's a D lineman, right?
O lineman.
O-line? Oh, yeah.
Then
that's what they have him designated as.
If any team were to take him, it should be the Broncos. They seem to be the only one with a competent O-line coach. So, yeah, they're the only ones. Even with the Chiefs, it's probably the Broncos with the best coaching staff for the offensive line part. So
just as an aside to that, and I will kind of cap it there on this one here, but I would love that dude on my Broncos team because he reminds me a lot of Quinn Miners in terms of his play style. Quinn Miners, basically the all-pro guard on my Denver Broncos.
I know, but Lucky Tossie really doesn't have a style. He hasn't been able to establish one. He's literally just go see guy, hit guy. He doesn't know scheme. He doesn't know any of that stuff.
Right, but that was Quinn Miners in his last year of college, was see guy, hit guy. And what a lot of people don't realize is Quinn Miners in the off season, because that was that COVID year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they didn't play, and Quinn Miners had done like a whole boatload of work in the off season there to like level up his game. And then he went from like see guy, hit guy to like Pro Bowl, like holy crap, who's this dude? Like,
it's there, no question.
Yeah.
G-Fam's telling me, God Family Raiders for Life's telling me right here, Spytech already signed him to a future contract. I did not see that. G-Fam, that's true, man. I didn't know that.
What would that contract be called? It's like called something differently.
It is. The pathway stuff, it's IRP. I just don't know what it stands for.
Yeah, they fall into like a weird thing. But yeah, if they're going to keep him long term, then rock and roll. What's the harm?
That means
I'm not going to lie.
That just means he can't be put on waivers automatically because he wasn't a starter.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie. I hate the fact that Incognito is working with him. Like, hate it.
It's just when I hear things once, it's one thing, but I hear something twice, it's another. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
you're not wrong. Incognito was that dude for the Raiders that set the tone for your team, and he galvanized the other members in that locker room to kind of play with a certain style. And I don't want that big dude playing with that sort of aggression. And the thing that kills me with Incognito is he played with that sort of aggression, but, and this is a huge one, it wasn't just raw aggression. He actually had the tactician and the ability to play with the proper style at the NFL level. And the answer to that is no. Like, stop it. I don't want that to happen. You need to stop that now, because we do not need a dude that is like a Mekhi Becton who can actually play football in our league, in our division.
Oh, never! I almost said the R word.
Yes. What, you mean retard?
And the thing about it is, people don't realize is Richie Incognito could play every single position on the offensive line at the Pro Bowl level.
Yes,
probably
every single position.
Yeah,
and if he's teaching a young dude to be that with the skills and the strength and the speed this guy has, and he gets anywhere near that, that's Blindside movie all over again.
What position do you think he would end up?
I think guard. I think.
Yeah, guard would probably be my guess.
Yep.
I mean, look, if he can work all off season and hone in his craft with an all-pro kind of guy like Incognito, why not? What's the risk? Like,
there's no.
Yeah, I mean, you can't teach genes. You know what I mean? With certain guys, so
you can teach speed, strength, and
right
naturalness. You just can't teach that.
We'll see.
Tuesday, January 6th, Laki Tassi signed future contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, securing him for the entirety of their offseason program going into the 2026/2027 season. So I can absolutely confirm to you that is in fact true.
I just saw the same thing. I was looking it up. Well, and
the answer is yes.
I mean, what that essentially does, keeps him in some money, keeps him fed, and that type of thing. And it keeps him from being on that non-starter automatic waiver thing when free agency starts. Where
probably, I mean, who knows what he does in the offseason, right? If he goes back home. I think, what is he? Is he from New Zealand or
Australia, I think.
So he's not going to be making quick flights, right? So I'm assuming he's probably going to go home for a little bit, but at the same time, that also, since he's still signed with the Raiders, that means that he can use the facilities when need be, right? Because I'm sure he's not made of money being an international pathway player.
Right, so, and there's another rumor of, because Max Crosby said on the Rush when Laki Tassi was mentioned about midway through the season or whatever, hey, you ever practice against this guy? He goes, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I get thinking about that. It could be one of those, well, he's so raw, they don't want him to go hurt the defensive line as well. He doesn't know enough to know this is a no-no. You can't do this part.
So this is a thing. So Nabman, the difference between like football and rugby, and this is a definitive difference in between football and rugby, is you are taught in rugby that there is actually no end to the play.
Right.
No, like as in there's a whistle, and the whistle is a really great suggestion.
Right.
It is a wonderful suggestion, and the refs have suggested to you that you should stop trying to hurt your opponent, and that you should effectively ignore it for sure, and then wait for the ref to come tap you on the shoulder and tell you to stop. So,
Richie, but at the same time, rugby players are like the nicest human beings after everything.
They are.
They're not like, I want to fucking kill you. They're more like, hey, good on you, dude. Like,
Tassi is a very soft-spoken individual. As big a human as he is, he's very soft-spoken. He doesn't say much.
Rugby's probably the most aggressive gentleman sport I feel like I've ever seen and participated in. It's bizarre. Football, you play your opponents and you handshake at the end and you're cordial, but you still don't like those people. You're like, F you, whatever. In rugby, it's like, no, we're gonna get beers together afterwards.
Yeah.
And I did that after every rugby match. We're getting beer and hanging out and singing with our opposing team. It's freaking bizarre.
It's a crazy sport when half your players are also first responders. You know what I'm saying? So just in case,
Yeah. It's the other thing, I don't know how football is in the U.S., but at every rugby game, it was a mandated requirement to have a minimum of 2 first responders at the game.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So like when I went through, that was how we had the ref crew, and then we had the first responder crew, and it was actually a mandated part of our games was that first responders had to be on premise, like physically on the sideline for the games.
Makes 100% sense. Like,
Yeah.
obviously.
And I heard something somewhere, it was a plus to get on a rugby team if you were great at it and you're also freaking qualified in CPR and freaking first aid.
I had CPR, first aid training, and other things, and I was on the team as a lock, which is the second row in the scrum. So I am a different level of crazy. And yeah, it's honestly my favorite sport. I do absolutely love
watching
it. I absolutely love it. It is beyond aggressive. But getting back to what Lockie Tossi and what he's going to bring to your team is he's one of those super rare guys, very similar, I think, to the guy from the Eagles, which is despite their size, because they come from a sport that requires constant running, like there is no stop and go. It is always moving.
Soccer.
Like it's like a soccer style sport where you're always running.
Cardio's up here.
Cardio up. Yeah. So you got a guy that since he's able to move around like that and get that mobility going at his size, when you hit on a dude like that, like you just like anchor the dude down on your team. Like you do not let them go because it is so rare to have a guy that can move that is that big. You need to keep him.
You guys hitting on UDFAs essentially. That's
exactly
probably what I equate it to. But especially on the offensive line side, that's even more like okay, here we go. We got
well when we got him, I kind of said I was like, okay, this is one of those blindside movie type deals here that we're probably not going to see much of him the first year we have him. Hopefully we can keep him around and he can learn the game because he's not 100% sure what rules are. Yeah. So that's what we got. We're going to have to. Now he is an extremely intelligent individual. When you hear him talk, he can speak the game, but he'll be the first one to admit when we do this shift or whatever, I don't know what all this stuff is. And that's I think from just a learning perspective is going to be a big thing for him. And this regime hasn't allowed much learning. So other than the practice squad. And you can imagine our coaches were so shitty this year. How shitty were our practice squad coaches? I mean, it's so you can't expect a whole lot of development out of the practice squad if your front line coaches suck. So.
Well, it's even worse than that. Actually, I think is your offensive line coach didn't develop the guys that were even slated to potentially step in and start. Right? So you had Carroll, who was supposed to be your offensive line coach, who didn't even bring Rodgers in until you were completely eliminated from the playoffs and then some. And then you're running
either one.
Yeah, and then you end up with Rodgers coming in and actually looking like a pretty darn competent offensive lineman. And then you start looking at everything saying, why are we only seeing that guy now?
Right.
And
that's
actually,
what we've all of us are.
Right.
We're frustrated.
And actually, Spytech all but said it a few days ago. I don't know if you heard it in his presser. I don't. Yep. I totally.
Take that thing apart.
Oh yeah. And that was super interesting. Spytech literally said, "We drafted these rookies for a reason. You want to see these rookies play. You want to see them get play time. It's a constant battle between the front office and the head coaches. So it's a yin and a yang to try to figure out the young guys versus the veterans." And that was basically, I think, his way of saying, like, Pete was clearly out over his skis, but I'm not going to say it until I fire him. Right? Like, you know what I mean? So
But coming off of Laki Tassi, I'm going to throw another name at you on the offense. A skill player that every time he's stuck his face in the game, has made a play. His name's Shedrick Jackson. You guys just remember that. I'm telling you, every time he's had an opportunity, he's made a big play. The dude's fast. His hands are like freaking sticky. And he's Bo Jackson's great nephew.
Okay.
So
I haven't heard that name probably since the draft, I guess.
Every time he's got an opportunity, he's made a play.
Fun fact, I just found out that Jim Harbaugh has more rushing yards than Bo Jackson. That was bizarre for me to hear that, but we all know how Bo's career went.
Yeah. But anyhow, that's the kind of things I'm kind of are in my mind, and every time it like hits my mind, I just write it down real quick, just so I don't, Shedrick Jackson, I think is going to be a freaking. He's gonna be on this roster next year. I don't think there's a question of that.
And the other thing that you have to look forward to actually is a regime change. Maybe not at the front office level, although I think your front office needs just a little bit more polish to it to kind of accomplish what they're looking to do. But I think that ultimately you're from the Spytek now being there, aligned with the ownership, with his synergy with Tom Brady for the most part. Obviously, even Spytek said, look, Tom and I disagree, but the great thing about Tom is that he wants me to be able to voice my disagreements, and I thought that was a really interesting statement as well. Yep. I know it's interesting that a Broncos fan's paying attention to the Raiders, but you're a rival of ours, and I would argue it's probably one of the most storied rivalries, maybe in even all of football, the Raiders and Broncos. And so
Packers, Bears.
Look, I'm going to literally put the Raiders Broncos in a very similar category to Packers and Bears. And that's simply because there is an anger and aggression between the Raiders and the Broncos organization that goes pretty much back to the inception of both teams coming in. Like, it is bad. Like like decades. Yeah. So like, there's a reason why there's a very select few Broncos fans that will communicate and do so civilly with Raiders fans and vice versa. That rivalry is strong, and it's strong for a reason. It just is. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. Yep. But it'll be very interesting to see what becomes of it. And also, I'm quite interested to see organizational direction. As an example, what are you going to do in offense? Like, what's that offense going to look like? Are you going to go for like power, outside zone, inside zone, a combination of it? Like, I don't know, right?
The novel. This is the novel.
Yeah. And so you have a few different options with some of the linemen that you have there. Although I do think that inside zone or outside zone are certainly on the table with some of the athleticism that you have on your offensive line. Yeah. Plus adding a few guys with your substantial cap that you actually have coming into the offseason.
Should be about 118. Should be about 118 by the time we do roster cuts.
Yeah. So when you look at that, that gives you some real opportunity to kind of bring in the right guys to kind of backfill and get yourself ready ahead of the draft.
Is that cutting Geno, Nav?
Yeah. So as long as we do that before
June 1st,
think of the date. What is it?
June 1st?
No. It's earlier. It's got to be earlier than that because he's under contract. So
I'm like, when you said 118, I'm like, okay, that just shot up. So I'm assuming
no, it's a shot up because they're getting all these 1-year contracts we had for $2 million, $3 million, whatever. A lot of these folks are not going to be back, and they can be cut, released, all that stuff at any time. So several of them, Devin White, folks like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think you have some interesting times ahead. And then, the question mark there, the other interesting piece is going to be Patrick Graham. Does he stay? Does he
goodbye already?
Pardon me?
It looked like he was saying his goodbyes in the last game.
Well,
that's the vibes I got from some of the clips I saw. But who knows?
That's what it looks like.
It'll be interesting either way. Like, does he stay? Does he go? Does the new coach want to bring him back and do some things, or do they want a complete clean, wiping of the slate, bringing in a new regime? which I could see, by the way. I could see Patrick Graham being let go, even though I actually think that he did quite well with the tools that he had available in his tool belt, if I'm going to be honest, overall. So I would question that decision up front, but I could also understand that you may not want to have lingering kind of the festering elements of the previous regimes to be in the building. So I can also appreciate if they choose to move on from him at that point as well. But anyways,
hey, if I may,
yes, Jay, this is a 2X shirt that is still tight on me, but I can't help that. I used to lift weights and be a little bit, buffer than I am now. Kids will do that to you, but I don't wear ladies' small shirts like you did last night on your podcast.
Yeah, mediums.
Mediums, yes.
Hey, if I may, you asked a question about you were kind of, or you made a statement. You were kind of surprised that they fired Pete like they did, right? But here's my perspective on this. I think it was very classy the way it happened, to be honest with you, which is outside of Raiders lore, to be perfectly honest with you. Pete should have been fired 5 weeks ago, at least. Okay, so as far as a competitiveness, and how it's going and all that. I mean, it was already a done deal, right? They gave him the respect by giving him till the end of the year. Okay, then the first pick overall was guaranteed, and they allowed him to go in and coach and try to win a football game. And then they allowed him in the locker room after a win with all the rookies they had playing that ended up winning the game, got an opportunity at success for one game. Okay? Everybody, that is not the time to go, okay, you're fired. So what they did was they let everybody freaking celebrate and have their good times. My guess is those conversations already happened inside the coaching deal with Mark and Tom and Spytech, and that happened before that, and then waited till the next day. Let them celebrate. Let the team. It's a bad leadership thing to have a win and fire your coach while he's in the locker room congratulating your people. You know what I mean? So I will tell you this. I'm sure the question was asked, sure you don't want to retire? Because if you don't, I know this sounds like an ultimatum. If you don't, we're going to move on from you anyway. And I've never met Spytech, but the vibe he gives for me is a great leader. And he probably looked at Pete and goes, man, I love you. No shit. Everybody here loves you as a person, but it just isn't working. I'm quite sure that those conversations happened long before the Kansas City game even started.
See, I'm not even sure that he was liked as a person.
I think he was, because the whole damn team freaking went in one by one before he left the building and freaking hugged them. So,
well, I guess what I mean by that is maybe the team liked him and everything, but you also have to remember
as a person, out of respect, right?
Well,
that's what I mean.
He's an old guy that actually has connections, so I think every player wanted to hedge their bets and simply do the right thing, and that, I think, is fair. However, at some point, some of the rookies must have looked at it and said, so let me get this straight. I start playing and we start looking more competitive, right, as a team.
Yeah.
And you and your son and your decision making kept me on the bench, which made us look less competitive up until that point. Like, at some point, you got to think as a rookie player or as a young guy or whatever, that you're just going to say, like, no. Like I'm going to, kind of do one of these and kind of like hold the smile in place just long enough until he's out the door and be like, thank God that's over. And I do wonder if they're kind of maybe in a little bit of that component. The one thing that really did disappoint me with the Pete Carroll regime, and then we'll move on to the Broncos Chargers game, is Pete Carroll did not implement the same things that made his Seattle Seahawks team when he was there with the Legion of Boom in that like early block there. He just forgot what made that team so competitive and so good. And that was those like basically competition Thursdays or something like, I can't remember exactly what day of the week it was, but where he basically said, all guys on the field, full rotation, like I don't care if you're a starter or a practice squad, you're competing for the job. So it's like competition Thursdays or something. And that's actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. And let's put it this way. He said he was doing that, but Spy Tech literally all but told on him in his presser that he wasn't, right? So, like, I'm sorry, but I'm willing to believe what Spy Tech says in that scenario, because the proof on the field was enough to show me that whatever Pete was saying was not actually accurate.
Right. And that's where I want everybody in Raider Nation to know one thing. Spy Tech was a rookie GM this year. He's no longer a rookie. So we're being nice to him now. But he goes and screws this up, then we can throw some shade at him. So look, we ain't being nice to you forever, bro. You best do this right.
That's how I felt. That's exactly how I felt about Ortiz last year. Was like, look, he's taking over. Probably not the best situation. We were over cap. I think we were like, I forget how much cap. Right. Anyways, wasn't the best situation. So like to do what he did. So you got to look at Spy Check and be like, this was not the best situation for him. So it's gonna, give the guy a little bit of grace. He's not a miracle worker, so it's gonna take some time.
Right. And the thing is, when you're over cap, the only thing you can do really is either cut folks that you don't want to cut, or you draft well.
Oh God, it says Broncos on there. I was like, what is on his knife? He's got Bronco steak knives.
When you're over cap, you either cut people or you draft well, which Chargers did a good job in the draft.
Well, I mean, one of the painful things, they had to trade Keenan Allen essentially. Yep. Like that was after he balled out the previous season. There's a lot of uncomfortable things GMs have to do,
right.
And
that's where we're in a kind of a different situation than most teams that are picking first. Because we have all this freaking cap space.
Yeah.
And I mean, people talk about O-line and all this other stuff. We're in the perfect position in a rebuild to get a quarterback first and rebuild because of all the cap space. But first, we need to know who in the heck the head coach is going to be and what their vision is to do so. And that's the thing. So I don't want to preface anymore because the novel is over here. so you guys,
let's get into.
Oh, go ahead, Richie.
I was going to say, let's get into the Broncos Chargers game.
Yeah.
We can probably go through that in relative short order, DZ. I think that it was a relatively straightforward game overall. Not a ton of surprises. I have a few things that I want to bring forward. I'm sure you have a few things you want to kind of touch on as well.
Sure.
And then I'll have you start off. And I want to preface this for your Chargers that you had 7 or 8 starters that were sitting.
Yeah, 7, 8, something around that. Yeah.
So
I don't know the exact number. I just know there was a lot of guys in street clothes essentially on the sidelines. This was a goofy game. The Chargers hedged their bets. It was like all about seeding essentially. I think if they would have tried to win this game by not resting starters, I think they would have gotten a 6th seed, if I'm not mistaken. And they would have had to face the Jags. I mean, people in the chat, if you want to double check, Jags have our number right now. So that wasn't looking good. And then, they had other things, pop up, like Justin Herbert's hand is the main one. Like, dude could use a break from getting his hand slapped. Because, look, ever since he broke that hand in week 13 against Navs Raiders, opposing defenses are going after his hand. They are swatting it. There's, I don't know how many clips I've seen where guys are running up to him and throwing swats at his hand. Just why not, right? That's something I would have done. I played defense growing up, that you attack weakness. And he's had an issue with fumbles. I think he had only he only had like 2 fumbles, I think, previous to that hand injury. He's already had 5 since that injury. Luckily, I think he's gotten the majority of them back. But it's an issue. He's only got 1 arm. But and then there's some other guys like Derwin, Mack, I don't know, Thule, Molden. There's some guys that they rested. Molden has been banged up. Hampton, it looked like he got hurt in that Texans game the previous week to his other ankle, which is not good. He didn't practice today. He was working off the side with trainers, so dude's gonna have 2 bum ankles. It's looking like heading into this playoff game. But overall, I was impressed by some rookies. Justin Eboigbe, our second-year edge that converted to D tackle, he came away with 2 sacks. Marlo Wax, one of our rookie linebackers, looked like he played really well. Frankly, I was unimpressed by. Well, let me get into this first. Trey Lance, this was supposed to be like your addition, brother. Like, this was, now I get it, man. The offensive line was rough. There were some backups in, right, blocking for him against the Broncos. But I mean, I think the dude was, I mean, I got the stats I can pull up, but I don't really want to bore you with that on ESPN. But he was like 50-50, just sailing balls, like just looked horrible. And I'm like, man. And I think what the Chargers wanted was, let's show this guy off. A lot of teams need quarterbacks, and we could get a comp pick from it. And it's looking like he's probably going to be a flat-out cut.
He looked terrible. Yeah,
he looked horrible. Now,
like, what's this dude doing?
Now, looking at the offensive line, the backups, the offensive line is just a hot mess. That's beating a dead horse. I've been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about it for the whole season, essentially. Andre James, Nav knows him. He got to start a game. And now people are like, maybe Andre James should be a starter. Well, he gave up like 1 pressure, I guess. But the thing is, what I was watching with the film with Andre is he gets bullied.
He does.
He got bullied. Like, he was just getting pushed right into the back, like right into the chest of Lance.
Wazirike was taking him by the chest plate.
Yeah.
And physically, like, you could almost see that Wazirike was like lifting him almost off the ground backwards into Herbert. Like, it was.
No, Herbert wasn't out there. Lance.
Oh, sorry, into Lance. Sorry, yeah. I'm so used to seeing Herbert on the field, but yeah, into directly back into Lance. It was bad.
Well, and that was my major freaking downer with Andre James was he didn't come off the snap fast enough.
Yeah.
And when he did come off the snap fast enough, he'd stand straight up.
Well, so this is the thing. It's either you deal with him getting bullied like that, or you deal with the current situation is Bradley Bozeman, who will let a free rusher come and spear your quarterback. So it's like, pick your poison. How do you want your quarterback to die? Do you want him getting tripped up on by your center, or do you want somebody else, drilling him? So I was like listening to fans like, maybe he should be starting. I'm like, no, watch the film. It wasn't great. It was pretty bad. But there was.
Do you know what James is? James is a great backup.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So why
James is a great great backup.
And he's a way better guard.
And I'm kind of glad. I think they tried him at guard. I think he played guard sometime this season or in the preseason, one of the two. And he looked horrible. But look, he just got the team. But no, I agree that he's a good backup. The thing is God, I lost my train of thought. But I was looking at like other guys. I think Penning was playing right guard, and now people are like maybe he should be the right guard going into Foxborough, which I don't disagree with because Mekhi Becton is just a useless giant POS that is stealing money from this team. I truly believe it. But overall, I was really impressed by our defense. Now, I've heard all the pundits, Denver pundits, saying that they went vanilla in this game. I get it. Why not? You know, you see the Chargers are resting all their starters. You're like, we're not going to rest our starters. We're just going to, you know, pull it back a little bit. At the same time, if I was a Broncos fan, I would still have some questions heading into the playoffs. I would be like, timeout. You were playing essentially, I would say mostly starters especially on that defensive side, and you couldn't muster a touchdown. It was Bo Nix. I don't know. I was just like, I thought the Broncos were going to come out put up like a 30 burger, you know, on them, and it was, you know, it was 19-3. I was a little disappointed we couldn't get the ball in the end zone. I was hoping for one touchdown. Broncos did a good job keeping them out of the end zone, but you know, I was looking at who was out there playing at the same time. I was like, I think Keenan, I'm glad they got him paid. He needed like 6 catches, and I think he needed like a certain amount of yards, and he got $1 million. So they really did a good job getting him his money.
I did see that. That was good.
But other than that, that's all I could take away from this game. I thought it was a weird game to have like kind of like a quote unquote bye week heading into the playoffs. But I think it was necessary considering all things seeding wise.
You guys didn't have anything to win or lose in that game, except for people. You had people to lose in that game. That's what you had. But you didn't have anything to gain in the playoffs whatsoever. Right. So that's Jim Harbaugh, dude. That's a dude that's thinking about shit like that.
Right. Well, apparently the Patriots are using it as ammo, or their fans. They're fanalists like us, right? They're like, they should take this as disrespect. I get it. Whatever. Take it as disrespect all you want. You know, I don't think I want my team flying from LA to Foxborough. I think like this team's already the most traveled team, but you know, the Chargers did get a break, in my opinion, with this going into this next game. It is Sunday night football, not a Sunday day game, not a Saturday game. The last 2 playoff games for my Bolts, which have been complete disasters, were Saturday games, Saturday midday games. So this is going to be a late night Sunday game. I think it's going to bode well for them with their internal clocks. We'll see. But Richie, take it away on your Broncos, buddy.
So I shared some of the same concerns you already said there. And let's be real, no one should be surprised that I'm going to be critical of my own team because I am literally probably the most like critical Broncos fanalist on the internet.
No question.
Like for sure. So
you are definitely. I real quick. I engage with other Broncos fans. A lot of them. I mean, they're really cocky. All good for you guys. Are number 1 seed.
A lot of flowers from them.
And Richie's like, he's more of like, all right, let's bring it back in for a second. Come on.
So I come from a very, very competitive, like a sports competitive family. Like it's just the way that we're built. I don't know if Nav, I don't know if you've heard me talk about the story when I broke my leg. But like my dad came on the sideline and looked down and said, "That's broken. So are you going to go home or do you want to wait to the end of the game?"
Right.
So
same as
like,
moral man be saying.
Yeah. So like we just need to like level set kind of like where I come from in terms of like a mental mindset on this, right? And so I'm looking at this sort of stuff for the Broncos and saying, you had an opportunity here to put a pin in the season. So you could have approached this one of 2 ways for my Denver Broncos, right? You could have come out and executed all of the plays that are already in your playbook and maybe gone up by, say, 2 touchdowns or two touchdowns and a field goal, because you were playing against the backups, or at least some of the backups on the D line. I will say, DZ, overall, your defense was mostly starters, with the exception of like 1 or 2 guys.
The D tackles were.
Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like your D line is really good, and it's not getting enough credit for how good it is. Like, I'm sorry, like
our two main edge guys, Mac and Tooley. But yeah, we had Odafe and Bud Dupree and Kennard were out there. I think Dupree got hurt, actually. And I'm not really impressed with Kennard, our rookie. But they were wrecking shop in the interior. I was pleasantly surprised. I was surprised. I was like, I totally forgot that you guys had Sam Mustipher, who is had to come in as a center. I was like, what? When? And then I was like, oh, okay, now I remember.
Well, he was with us to begin with.
Yep.
And I don't think you were on the show at the time. Maybe you were, but I wanted him to be our backup. I wanted us to cut Whatabaygle, and I wanted Forsyth as the starter, and then I wanted Mustipher to be our backup, because Mustipher is actually a very good. Mustipher reminds me a lot of. He reminds me a lot of Quinn Miners a little bit. He plays very aggressively, and he's kind of that like stout kind of run blocking guy. And I mean, I've made my stance on this quite clear on the show. I think that you can teach a run blocking offensive lineman the skill sets required to also be a pass pro guy. I do not think that you can teach a pass pro guy the skill sets to be a run blocking guy. I just don't think that that's possible. In order to be a run blocking offensive lineman, you have to be a special kind of crazy, and you have to have an actual mental mindset to say, I'm going to move. Yeah, I'm going to move big dude that way, and there's no way, no how that I'm not gonna. That is a mental mindset that most dudes don't have, and rarely do you get a guy that comes into the game with that sort of a mental mindset. And so
that's where the Locky Tossy thing comes in with me for the Raiders. Right. Like, just bring them in for running the football. And the thing about it is, they're going to know we're running, but this is a tank.
Yes, they're still not going to stop him. Yeah, they're still not going to stop him, right? And so, like, that's what I'm saying, is that there's a mental mindset to running the football, and you need a guy that has the mental mindset to be able to do that. And when you add on to that in a Lucky Tossy scenario, as an example, when you have a dude that happens to be the size of a small building in front of you, and he's that aggressive, that's a very difficult human being to stop from pushing you off the football. And so even though he may not have the great technique to actually work on the pass pro side of things yet, I say yet, because he has to have the willingness to learn the technique to kind of go in that direction, which I have no doubt that he's probably going to want to, which I hate, by the way, but that's a different discussion. Right. But the mental mindset of the guy to move another human being off the ball is one, it's very rugby. I'm sorry. Like that's a rugby mentality right there, which is
scrums.
I have a scrum in front of me, and I have 3 guys that weigh like in the scrum, as an example, as a lock. So I play second row. Locky Tossy was probably a prop, which is in the front portion of the scrum. At his size, that would make sense. You basically had to move 3 grown men of your own size physically backwards in order to win. So just think of that from a general perspective, which is you have to physically push that guy completely backwards in order to win that particular battle. And so these guys already have that mental mindset from the rugby side of things. And that's why the run blocking is very rugby-esque to me. That's why I always look for that kind of technique and that kind of style, which is I can pick that out of linemen. Quinn Miners, I picked out when he first came into the Broncos. That guy, put him out there. I could see how he was run blocking and doing that sort of thing. It was like, you need a guy like that there. You had Osimile, I think, as one of your linemen back in a little while ago on your Raiders, their nab man. He's another dude that had that kind of mental mindset. He was another guy that had that kind of that grit to him that was pushing guys off the ball. Incognito, we've already covered him, but he's another dude that had that, like, you're in front of me. That's funny. Good luck. I'm moving you backwards one way or another. And he, like, again, it's all a mental mindset. And DZ, if I look over at your team as an example, Joe Alt is a guy that I would argue has got that very similar mindset in terms of one way or another, come hell or high water, he is pushing his guy backwards and they are not getting around him. It does not matter.
I don't think there's one offensive lineman in the NFL I'd trade Joe Alt for.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
A healthy Joe Alt, like, yeah. And I used to feel that way about Slater, but now Slater's kind of caught the injury bug, and I like have to put pause on him. But I just look at Joe and I watch him play, and I see his size and everything, and everything's so easy to him. He's had a few misses against really fast guys like Benito, and then I think it was Will Campbell last year. But I mean, what guy isn't having issues with those guys, right?
Right.
As long as it's not every snap, one or a few snaps, it's going to happen.
If you have a good guard next to him, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So
the only time Alt's going to get beat is inside. That's it.
So he had the thing is, it's kind of weird. Slater and Alt both got hurt next to Zion Johnson. Now Zion, it happened. It supposedly was non-contact. It was in practice, and that was his patella. And then when Alt got hurt, Zion's next to him because he's our left guard. But that was due to, I think, our right tackle or right guard just whiffing and just getting blown out of the water, and some guy rolled up on the back of his leg. But Zion has been the best offensive lineman for us all season consistently. Yeah. He's as Harbaugh says, he's a Ted, there every day guy. And they're going to have to make some decisions because he is a first rounder that's going to be up for free agency, and it's going to be interesting to see if they try to re-sign him or if he goes to the highest bidder because he's been pretty damn good considering who he's been working next to. He's Bradley Bozeman, the worst center in the league, ranked 33 or 32 out of 32. And then he's been next to a turnstile essentially at left tackle. So,
right. The question is whether or not your team sees Zion Johnson as part of the problem or part of the solution. And whether or not they're finally able to look inwards and get over a dude that's got really good character. So I look at Bozeman as kind of like the Justin Simmons of the offensive lineman, right? And like, look, Simmons, for sure, great dude, okay? For sure, great dude. However, he played selfishly and always tried to only kind of do the things to make him look good and ignored the rest of the teammates that were around him. And that's why he's no longer in the NFL. He's basically doing podcasts right now, which is fine. He was always a very intelligent football player because, again, little known fact, Justin Simmons, not particularly athletic compared to other safeties at the position. However, he made up for it because the dude was wicked smart. And so he was wicked smart. So he tried to predict what was going to happen to try to make up for the fact that he wasn't super athletic like some of the other safeties that exist in the NFL. And a lot of the times, to his credit, he was catching interceptions. He was making certain plays that were solid, and he ended up making some Pro Bowls and stuff as a result. But at the end of the day, it came down to it, which is he absolutely got himself to the peak of what his physical gifts were, and good for him. He deserves all the credit in the world. T3, nice to see him, my man. This I agree with 100%. He got the most out of the talents that he had at his disposal. The problem is that his talents were limited on the physical side, which then ended up hindering actually the rest of his teammates that were surrounding him. Bozeman, I see, is the exact same guy. He's got some physical gifts, but
you're
he
giving Bozeman too much
overplays his
credit, my
hand.
friend.
Well, no, he's got physical gifts. He does. Like, I'm sorry, a dude that's
Yeah.
that large that can move with that kind of agility is rare, but it does not mean that he can compete against, these defensive linemen that are equally or more gifted than he is on the other side of the ball. That's the problem, right?
Kind of if we stick on the O-line, my Bolts did something pretty interesting, which with the fan base really needed or wanted. The Ravens had a guy who was suspended, I think, for a DUI, Ben Cleveland, and they released him. So he served his I think it was like 3 games suspension, or it's like substance. I don't know what it was. And the Chargers signed him to the practice squad, and I believe he was a starter there off and on in Baltimore. This guy is 6'6", almost 6'7", 355 pounds. I would plug and play him right away. I mean, Harbaugh was asked, who the starting offensive line is going to be going into Foxborough, and Ben Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland.
And Harbaugh pretty much said Mekhi Becton, but I'm like, man, I would pull Mekhi Becton's ass so fast in that first quarter or that first series if he left up any pressure.
Shit.
I would. Monster. So they've got some options. Not saying they're good. Trevor Penning, he comes with his downfalls with penalties, but that guy's nasty. So they've got their options kind of going forward. Not saying they're great options, but if they got break glass in case of emergency kind of options, especially in the Mekhi Becton. Now, money does play a role, but look, this is playoffs. This is a whole new season. And then Jamari Salyer, who's missed, he's back at practice. That was he's been kind of holding it down at left tackle. So it'd be really important to get him back for this.
That dude, Ben Cleveland, looks like a freaking Viking, bro. A monster. He looks like he belongs in Game of Thrones, bro.
We have a joke in the Chargers, like every Chargers fan, they're like, we want, and not to get political, but we need MAGA dudes on this offensive line. Like, get us some corn-fed MAGA Vikings that are on this offensive line.
Yeah.
And I think he checks those boxes. If you were to look at his profile on X,
holy crap! I was like, damn, that's a freaking monster human being right there.
So it'll be interesting. Do they like give him some time to get things going again? And if we can get past New England, which that's a whole nother discussion, another topic. But and then maybe have him play the second game.
Hey, Taino has a great question right there for you, DZ.
What's the Charger playoff predictions? That's kind of, I mean, if you look at consensus, what everybody's going at is New England's 3.5 point home favorites, I guess. So people are leaning towards them. To me, this game's a coin flip because there's so many. It's a coin flip because there's so many. Each team has pros and cons, and there's the unknown of. Now, look, the Patriots. I've been watching for the last few days, Patriots sports shows, reading Patriots comments, all this stuff. They're like, we're gonna blow these guys out. And I'm like,
there ain't no fucking way.
I'm like,
no.
That was my first F-bomb. Just saying, that was my first F-bomb right there on this show. I mean, that's a record I went this long.
They do have home field. Foxborough is a whole nother beast, right? That's a special stadium.
Hey, the Raiders beat them in Foxborough week 1. So
right.
Just saying.
This will be Drake May's first playoff appearance. Look, I like to tease. I have nothing against Drake May. I think he's a great player. I think he's fantastic. I call him Timu 10 because a lot of people compare him to Herbert, and they all wear the same 10. Bo Nix wears 10 as well. I think it's kind of funny that all three of these guys wear 10. Now, the thing is that gives me pause on the Patriots. I think they're a great team. I think Vrabel's an amazing coach. They have a play caller that all Raider Nation know, who they didn't really like, but is an amazing play caller. It's going to be a chess match, but I can't ignore the fact that they had a historical easy schedule. Now, they're also getting a lot of guys back. They've been banged up, I guess, this whole season. I haven't really been paying attention to the Patriots. Looks like this is going to be the healthiest they're ever going to be is this game. That being said, I still have confidence in my defense, even though I guess May is really good against zone and quarters, which is what Minter likes to run. Their running back duo has been on fire. Really like Trevon Henderson, really like Ramondre Stevenson. And then we got our old buddy, Hunter Henry, who looks like he could be a deciding factor. It's going to be interesting. Now, the one thing they don't have, and I don't want to say they don't, but I'm looking at the teams that we've been playing recently. We've been playing the Broncos, the Texans, got teams with like elite defensive lines that have been just dry humping Justin Herbert, essentially. They don't have that. They can do it. They've got guys where they can do interior pressure, which is why I was mentioning Ben Cleveland opposed to Mekhi Becton. But if they can negate some of this, all Herbert needs is like a half more second or, a second more to get that, to deliver that ball, especially to a guy like Ladd McConkey, who's been taken out of the picture recently, and that's due to offensive line. Also, with the addition of Keenan, they kind of share the same space of the field. Another thing I like for my defense is Drake May likes to hold on to that ball. He holds that ball on longer than any quarterback I've seen. And, and I like that.
It's not going to equate well in the playoffs.
I like my pass rush, man. I like my three guys, Mac, Owe, and Thule. I like them. And, but it's gonna be fun. I think this game can be get your popcorn out. I think it's going to be a fun game, and I'm hoping my boys can come out on top. I'd love to go back to Denver. I know that's a weird saying because Denver's such a rough place to play, but I think they want to play the Broncos again. There's a lot of vets on that defensive side of that ball. I know Tony Jefferson made a thing, but they want to play Denver again. They want to go back and kind of get at them in the playoffs.
Hey, I got a prediction for that game in Foxborough. You ready to hear it?
Shoot.
Look, I got Chargers 27-17.
I do
that's
see
exactly
it
where I'm at, actually. That's exactly where I'm at.
I do see it kind of in that range. That score, I kind of see it a little lower, but at the same time, I know this team's explosive. I'm talking about the Patriots, their offense. Drake loves to throw the deep ball. Stephon Diggs. They talk a lot about Pop Douglas. I know he's going to probably take his shots. Now, the one thing for the Chargers that they cannot let happen, which they let kind of happen against the Texans, is you can't get down from the start, from the beginning of this game.
Right.
You can't go 2 scores down and try to come back because Justin can't sit back there 30 or 40 times with that offensive line and expect to carry this team back. And then I don't know if we talked about it, Marion Hampton, 2 bum ankles. That's going to really suck because you're going to want to lean into that run game a little bit. So
damn, if you only had J.K. Dobbins coming back there, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
We had J.K. in Houston, and he didn't do us any favors. But I'm sure healthy J.K. with his team would be really good.
Right.
So I want to quickly go back to the Broncos-Chargers game just to kind of put a pin in that, and we can kind of move on. But so a couple things. One, I agree. I think the Broncos offensive line did not perform well against the Chargers defensive line. Now, cool stat, not great for me though, but cool stat for you. The Broncos pressure rate this season against the offensive line, against my Denver Broncos, we have only had 2 games that have been over 40%. Care to guess which team did that both times?
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah.
Chargers.
Yeah.
That's a Minter problem. So
Oh God, this is gonna break my heart when he has to leave.
That's Minter problem, right? Minter is a guy that puts up key stats that matter, and he's getting the most out of dudes that nobody knows their name at all. And Vance Joseph, for whatever reason, is getting Minter's getting credit too. So we need to be like Minter's finally getting the credit that he deserves. Vance Joseph was always like, people just expected him to come back to a head coaching job, in my opinion. But I would argue that this season, Minter and Vance Joseph have both like shot up lists.
Well, they've both had. I think they both have got requests for interviews.
Yeah, they have.
VJ has 4 teams that have requested interviews with him.
And your quarterback coach as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him leaving, but we'll put that
aside. Yeah. So I don't know how many. Oh, go ahead, Matt. Sorry, buddy.
Davis Webb is interviewing with the Raiders right now.
Yeah, I think I've heard Webb and Stefanski are the ones that have been interviewing with the Raiders so far.
Yeah.
I know Minter has a lot. Look, I have a personal friend that talked to Minter in one of the last games, and not the Broncos game, but I think the Texans game, one of the games. And Minter's like, I'm not going anywhere. Well, fast forward, I don't think anybody really technically saw the Ravens firing Harbaugh.
No.
So when that happened, I'm just like, and everybody else on X as well, we're like, okay, see you, Minter. But at the same time, I've also heard the argument, do the Ravens really want to continue with that Harbaugh tree? They might not want to do that. They might want to go a completely different route. So we'll see. I expected, Harbaugh said from the get-go, like, I want to get Minter a head coaching gig. He's one of those guys. He's special. He's going to do great things wherever he lands. I was hoping, like, let's, run it back one more year. Year 3 seems to be the sweet spot under teams with, especially new regimes. And then after year 3, dude, peace out. Take care. But if he has to leave early, that's going to throw a wrinkle into things, because we see how this goes, man. When a guy like that gets poached, he likes to take some players with him. He likes to take some coaches with him. And you're just kind of like rebuilding, and it's probably never going to be the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I'm just glad that my Broncos haven't had another coach looked at who's going to be our heir apparent. You're going to be pretty impressed with him, actually. Both of you are. His name is Jim Leonard.
Yeah.
He
sounds familiar.
He is very good. And
are you saying for a defensive coordinator?
He's going to be our DC for sure.
If VJ gets picked,
like for sure.
Oh, he's going to.
I think the consensus among the fan base, like if Minter leaves, I think it's our DB coach, Klinkstell, will be elevated, but we don't know that for sure. So,
ooh, shit! Hold on. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
But anyways, just real quick, I'm going to go through a bit of a shotgun on the Broncos side of things here, just to kind of quickly blast through it. Offensive line didn't play particularly well. I was very concerned how they blocked against your D line. I do agree, however, that our offensive line protections were very vanilla, and that may or may not have been intentional. Now, if you mention a guy who looks like a Viking, I encourage you to look at our backup swing tackle named Frank Crum. He's the dude that dude just like looks like a Viking. Like you see him on the field, he's got like the blonde long hair. He's like definitionally a Viking. He just looks like he's a Viking. He is an incredibly large human being. Reminds me a lot, actually, of Lockie Tossie a little bit. He is an incredibly raw guy that has been coached up, that is like this close to being all the way there. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that's been coached up from our offensive line coach, which is DZ, to your point, clearly someone who knows what they're doing because they've constantly put and fielded a competent offensive line the last 2 years.
Yep.
I still want my offensive line to change pace a little bit. I would like us to start getting to be a little bit larger and a little bit nastier in terms of guys on the line. Right tackle would be an important player for us to get on there. That's where I like Palcho. I think Palcho's a great dude on the
really
right.
From left guard to right tackle?
Well, he was a right tackle to start.
Okay.
Like that's I keep on telling you. Like everyone doesn't like what to listen. He was slated to be our starting right tackle at some point, and then Ben Powers got hurt. And
Powers is back though, like ready.
Powers is back, but Palcho is a more aggressive version, and frankly, he's that run blocking guy. He's the dude that when McGlinchey went out, our run game got infinitely better because Palcho is that like angry, aggressive dude. And when you put him alongside of Miners on the right side, who is like angry by nature,
that dude came out of nowhere, bro. Though that is a freaking next level. Freaking, where the hell did that come from?
Well, Nav, I encourage you to go look at my earlier videos from
I know. I know.
But it was I called him. I called it. Like I was like,
did. You called it. There's no question. Yeah. But damn.
That's what I'm saying is that like he always had the it factor. Miners did. He had that mental mindset of I am going to win no matter what. And you need a guy who's got that like basically almost delusional mindset of I can beat that guy. It's like he made the Pro Bowl 5 years in a row. So
like right. Exactly.
And so Miners is that dude. So I think Palcho and Miners on the right side will make for a really great kind of like aggressive run blocking offensive line. Our offensive center, Wadabagle, needs to go. Now he's thankfully he's hurt. I wish no injuries on anyone, but I'm certainly not.
That sucks.
Yeah. Oh no.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Yes. Oh no. And Forsyth, you saw an immediate improvement in the run blocking game. That's where his strength is in the run blocking. Whatabagel's strength is the pass pro, whereas Forsyth's strength is the run blocking.
That game for a minute there, Richie, was like Charger got hurt, Bronco got hurt. Charger got hurt, Bronco got hurt. It was like they were going back and forth with injuries. Yeah. And I think a lot of that, some of those could have been like legit injuries, but I think a lot of it is like, okay, this is a meaningless game, essentially. Well, I don't want to say that, but they're like, yeah, I'm done. Some guy landed on me too hard. Like, I want out.
Oh, no, a hangnail. Hey, go sit on the bench. Bring in the other guy. Yep. And that was basically the long and the short of it, right? But the other thing is I think that Powers is probably going to be moved off of next year, and I think we're going to start looking for another kind of animal on the left guard side there to replace Powers. Bulls, I have heard, is better. He's recovered, or at least recovering, so that's good. And then a few other things that I just want to make note of. Karine Reed is back. You've heard me talk about him on the show. Also, Jordan, the other inside linebacker. For my team, that's first name, not last name. These guys here are going to become pretty important players for the Denver Broncos going forward. They are both undrafted free agents. And both of them, I promise you, will be back as rotational starters at the inside linebacker next year for my Denver Broncos. They played very well, and they are very good tacklers. And so Jordan Turner is the other inside backer there. The Denver Broncos have a very good scouting department when it comes to kind of that back portion of the roster, finding gems that were overlooked by other teams in the draft process. And I believe that they work on that recruitment process and they treat that very seriously. What was the other piece there? as much as I hate to admit it, I think that we are going to see a much larger role for a guy in Jaleel McLaughlin. But
Yeah, I think so too.
the only reason why Jaleel McLaughlin is going to start seeing a larger role is because we don't have a larger back that has some elusiveness to him. And that I think is a big gap on my Denver Broncos, if I'm going to be honest with you. We don't have a guy who is similarly built to Murray and Hampton. We don't have a guy who's that like 6'1", 230 guy. We don't have a guy who's in that kind of size and frame range on the Broncos. RJ Harvey has proven that he is a great, like, all-purpose sort of guy, but he is not that run between the tackles kind of guy. He wants to constantly bounce it outside, and he's kind of done a little bit of an FAFO component here in the NFL where he's like, oh, these guys are like way better than college. That doesn't work well. And you know what I mean?
It's kind of, I know what you're getting at, but going back to our game, like the two leading rushers for the game were the quarterbacks.
Yes.
Bo Nix and Trey Lance were the leading rushers. And I would say, both head coaches are probably like, this is unacceptable, essentially. Like,
I mean, look, Sean Payton and Harbaugh are like old school. Like they come from that old school like lineage of coaching and mental mindset. There is not a hope on this green earth that both of those coaches didn't go back to their running backs coaches and their offensive coaches and everyone else and just like rip a strip off of them. There's no way.
Rip a strip.
Yeah, there's no way. Because you cannot win games in the playoffs with running the ball that poorly. It is not possible. There is no way, no how. And DZ, to your point here, your D-line is going to be super critical for your game plan against the New England Patriots, because you're going to need to force them to become one-dimensional and pass the ball with your defensive line being as strong as it is.
It's going to be an interesting way to see how they combat. It's McDaniels, right?
Yeah,
Neff, McDaniels, and
Vrabel.
Drake May, and they've got a decent O-line.
My thing with that is, I think your front four is going to have to get pressure on it.
Oh yeah, I agree.
All day long.
Yeah.
And Nav, you want to know my prediction for this game?
I said 27-17, did I not?
I'm not saying score prediction. I actually think that Vrabel and McDaniels are going to pull a page out of Bill Belichick's book. Do you remember what Bill Belichick did about, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago in the playoffs with the Patriots when he was still there, when Brady was their quarterback? Bill Belichick pulled like a 1960s, 1970s playbook and said, that looks fun.
Like wing T type of shit.
He did wing T, power I, like random.
What?
Like I literally was watching a game in color that should have been black and white.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
McDaniel they've been running trick plays all season too, so
that
wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised a bit if you see a fullback in the freaking ball game a lot.
Yes.
Against the Chargers.
I don't know who their fullback is.
It could be a tight end. Doesn't matter.
Sure.
But the thing about it is, they have to know that the strength of that defense is right in the interior of that defensive line.
Yes.
So to keep them from coming upfield, you're going to have to run the football against them.
Yeah, and they've got their backs are, I think, like running at a pretty high clip. Stevenson. Yeah, and Henderson.
And Henderson, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, DZ, what I'm getting at is I think New England is going to look at this game and say, we need to find a way of ensuring that this game doesn't get out of hand.
Yes.
And on top of that, so like as a stack component of this, we need to find a way of controlling Herbert. And so if we can force a very grinding style, aggressive moving around of the football, like 3 yards of a carry, grinding down the field sort of thing against the Chargers. And by the way, that's a game style that's never worked against the Chargers, but you've also never faced like wing T or power I as a formation against your defense. Like, I'm sorry, you just haven't. And so my whole point here is I could totally see McDaniels having that in his back pocket. I totally see the New England Patriots like pulling that out of like, because let's be honest, Vrabel's an old school kind of coach. McDaniels is an incredibly versatile offensive play caller. He's proven it. Not a great head coach, but like an elite level offensive coordinator. And I don't think that's even disputable. That's not disputable at this point. And so I could
use that.
Yeah, and I could absolutely see them going into like the old school playbook of like the old Patriots kind of stuff from Bill Belichick days, working on that. Vrabel knows those styles of plays because those existed when he was playing back in the day. And look, I reserve the right to be totally wrong, right? But like part of me is just thinking that they're going to try to pull something in this game because I believe the Chargers are the real deal.
Yeah.
And I think the Patriots know.
They got limitations.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots know that they have certain limitations on the field. And frankly, I think once they get past the Chargers, I think they're looking at the other teams after the Chargers as being more difficult opponents.
I mean, I can.
Sorry. I think they're seeing the other opponents after the Chargers as being easier, like less difficult opponents. I think your defense is way better than they're used to playing, and I think that the next level of the game is they see as better opponents to face.
And that's a great point you make there because, like I said, I think it's important that the Chargers front four get upfield to Drake May to interrupt that stuff. And they don't have to.
No, and I 100% agree.
But here's the thing, though. The Patriots need to. What Richie's talking about is the Patriots need to freaking identify that that's happening immediately, and deploy a freaking a strike back to it pretty much immediately.
What I've seen from Drake May is one of the kind of, I guess you could say, pros that he holds onto the ball so long is that he'll keep backing up, when he's got pressure, and he'll wait for like that tight end to get underneath or something, and he'll throw it
too.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic thrower, especially for a second year. No, Bayou Raider, yes, it's a huge concern. Another thing is May is the third quarterback leading like running quarterback. I think like Herbert's 2 and 1. I forget who that is. So Drake will use his legs as well. He's incredibly athletic kid. Now we'll see, like, are the lights going to be too bright? We've seen it where the lights were too bright for Justin his first 2 playoff games.
Yep.
Mind you, those are different teams, different things, different everything.
I don't think that's a thing for him anymore. I think he's every game's what it is for Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, he talked today.
He showed that this year for the first time.
He's been carrying this offense on his back. I'll say that.
He's stiff arming dudes with a freaking broken hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to do everything he can to get his team into a winning position. Now, something one of the Patriots analysis guys said is he's like, the Chargers play just YOLO ball, and I was like, what? And then I kind of went, oh, you know what? This is probably right, because nothing that Greg has wanted to do, Greg Roman, the OC, has kind of really come to fruition these last 2 years, and it has to do with offensive line. So there's that. That being said, this is gonna be a fun, interesting game. It's playoffs. Everybody, it ticks up a little bit, aggression. I don't want to see dumb penalties. I really don't want to see dumb penalties. Like, that will really kill it. I want to see them let these guys play. And the fact that they don't have that stout of a pass rush, I don't want them to all of a sudden, become the freaking, the second coming of the 85 Bears, going against this offensive line. I hope this offensive line can hold up just enough and do their job in the playoffs. But we've got, 17 weeks of proof that they really haven't. So, yeah, it's going to be
And oh, by the way, Dicker the kicker needs to make fucking kicks he's supposed to.
Oh, dude, that was such BS. Him and our punter, man. Like, I felt like they had alternative motives. Like, the script was in.
I was sitting there. This game was 19-3 for one reason only. The Chargers could not capitalize on anything, and they gave it back to the Broncos at the most inopportune time the entire game.
The Texans? No.
Oh, Texans. Yeah.
That
was just like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Let's just fundamentally freaking play a game, and then we went. That's all I've said about the Raiders. I mean, on some of the close losses.
There's another thing
kind of like, let's just fundamentally play the game correctly, and then we win those balls.
One of the things the Chargers defense has been kind of striving on is they're the only defense that finished with more interceptions than touchdowns allowed.
Yes.
Out of all defenses in the league, which is impressive.
Right.
But this Patriots team has been they're pretty good with ball control. They don't give up the ball a lot.
Right.
Their running backs did have a fumbling issue kind of earlier in the season. I think they've cleaned it up some. So this is really going to be a chess game. Oh, and then Fishing Master. So the weather keeps changing. I keep monitoring it. It looks like it's going to be raining, and then the rain's going to stop. Now, look, like I said, this is Wednesday. We still have days to go, and the weather changes, on a dime, especially if you're on the East Coast. So it's probably going to be 30 degrees with like 70%, 80% humidity. So it's going to be that bone chilling cold.
Nice.
Cold.
I like it.
So guys are probably, now if it doesn't rain during the game, guys can wear sticky gloves. And if it is raining during the game, they're going to have to wear their leather-based gloves. So there's going to be some equipment kind of stuff that's involved to see, like, all the advantages. You're going to need all the advantages.
DZ, get in touch with your team. I am available to play for an NFL team. I come from Canada, and 30 degrees is balmy weather for me. Like, I will wear shorts to the game. Like, I will be totally fine.
I will submit your resume to them.
Yeah, so like let's just do it. Like,
this is one thing that I think the East Coast media is saying.
Awesome.
Look at the picture behind me. They're like, Chargers playing a dome. Like, that's a carport essentially. But the Chargers played in their third coldest game in the history of the organization against Kansas City this year. And that was probably their most aggressive physical game that they played, and they ended up winning that game. So I'm not going to be cocky and say I'm super confident, but unless it's raining, the wind is blowing, and it's snowing, 30 degrees, that's not an issue. Like, I think it was in the teens in Kansas City with wind chill. So people were saying it was 0 degrees. Yeah, you're right. And right now, I'm giving that edge to the Patriots. Rightfully so. They've been on fire running.
I think Hampton's gonna freaking get nice little freaking shoot up in his ankles, man. He's gonna freaking hot.
My argument here, DZ, is that I don't believe the Patriots have played a running defense quite like the Chargers this year.
They have not.
And I really do think that it's important that those Patriots fanalists, as well as analysts in general, they need to actually assess the folks that they're going up against. Like this is the problem I have with all of these cable network shows and all this other crap, which is they don't truly analyze the games. They just have like talking points that they like to regurgitate, and it's frankly it's getting trash. But even on the online podcast world, which they basically have free reign to actually be objective, but like 3/4 of them just choose not to, which is you need to look at the Chargers defensive line. Your defensive line has been exceptional this year. And Jesse Minter has been exceptional as a defensive coach this year. And I think that too many people are overlooking the Chargers because the Broncos have had a resurgence as a team, and they've won 14 games. And look, that's no small feat. I don't care what team you are. 14 wins.
I don't care.
14 games is incredible, right? But
even the Patriots winning 14 games, I'm like, I don't care if they have the easy. It's hard to win in this league. So at the same time, I'm like, hats off, brothers. Like,
right, but at the end of the day, you need to assess the opponents that you've gone up against. And the Broncos have actually gone up against a bunch of winning teams and won.
That's true.
And won. We beat the Texans. We beat the Eagles. Like, we beat some actually really good teams as the Denver Broncos. And the Chargers have also beat some really good teams. Like the Broncos, we're 14-3, and one of our losses is the Chargers, as an example. And the Chargers have beat some of these other teams as well. Now you've lost to some of those teams as well. But at the end of the day, your team has gone against much better opponents than the Patriots have. And you're not that far behind them in terms of your win total.
I mean, I think the argument, I think I heard one of their guys was talking about kind of to go against what you just said. They're like, we've played top defenses this year, and they said that they're like, we played the New Orleans Saints, and they're like, and we played I think it was the Bills, but I'm like, wait, what?
The Bills D sucks. Literally, they're amongst the worst in the NFL.
And then I was like looking at the Saints, I'm like, yeah, sure, there's been games where the Saints have been pretty good, but I'm like, the Saints offense hangs that team out to dry. It's so. I'm just like, now if our offense comes out there and is complete crap, which could be the case, especially with that offensive line, especially with Greg Roman, then sure, but I don't see that happening, especially with Justin. Justin's going to do everything he can to will this team to a win. I truly believe that. I think he's got a bad taste in his mouth, especially with that last playoff game. I'm sure he's a competitor. He's probably embarrassed. And, he can't do anything about the offensive line. He praises these guys, which as us fans, it drives us crazy, but he's just not a mean guy. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not going to get ahead of myself right now talking about the Broncos. One game out of the week right now.
So anyways, the point here I have in this game is my gut reaction is I still believe the Chargers will likely win this game. Although I do think that if the Patriots come out with a game plan that I outlined earlier, I actually think that Minter, the point is, if the Patriots come out and play their standard game plan, I think Minter wins, and I think that the Chargers end up winning and the Patriots lose. I think if McDaniels comes out with an offensive game plan, which is completely counterintuitive to what Minter's standard kind of defensive game plans work, he's going to be left on his heels to try to adjust quickly, and I think that's going to put him at a disadvantage.
I agree.
And I think that will give the Patriots a bit of an advantage in this game, and will then allow the Pats to do some things that will end up winning them the game. So,
and then Bayou Raider, he makes a good point. Turnover battle. Look, my Bolts have been giving up the ball. Justin hasn't been no stranger to interceptions this year, which I've said earlier this season, I don't mind the interceptions as long as we're winning, right? I get it. Stuff happens, you take chances. I think the Patriots have been a lot, better with the ball. But this is the playoffs. It's a whole new season. It's a whole new everything. There's a whole new vibe.
Can't do that against a 14-3 team. I'm sorry, you just can't.
It's a whole new vibe. And my biggest thing is I want my boys to show up ready to rock and roll and play. This is on the East Coast. Like we talked about it being Sunday night. I think that's a plus. It's prime time, which is funny. I think the Patriots are 4-0 in prime time. The Chargers are 5-0 in prime time. Something's got to give. Something's got to give this season. They like to show up on prime time. Now, this being on the East Coast, they're not that great on the East Coast, but at night, we'll see. I think everybody will ready to go. I'm excited. Our game, Richie, the Broncos-Charger game, I was like, man, I was praying if there was great weather outside, I was probably going to go do yard work because I already knew what was going to happen. I knew the Broncos were going to win. I had no faith in Trey. I had no faith in some of the backups. But this game, yeah, man, like it's got me. It's starting to rack my nerves a little bit. I'm starting to get a little.
So what's interesting in this game for me overall, and maybe we'll just give our quick rundown of our overall actual score predictions. Nav, you said it was 27-10, or
I'm gonna write it down.
Sorry, 27-17 was your score. That was Nav's score here.
What do you say? 27-17?
27-17 was Nav's score for this. Chargers win. What I think is interesting in this game here is the strength of the Chargers is also the strength of the Patriots.
Right.
So the Chargers game right now, their strength is stopping the run defensive side of the ball, whereas the strength of the Patriots is that grinding old school style of football, which is running the ball and controlling the clock. So it's
the Chargers. The Chargers are the top team in time of possession.
No, they're top team at time of possession, but the Patriots
We're just bad at scoring right now.
Yeah, but the Patriots' run game is very good, and the thing is that the Patriots have had games where their running backs have just gone off.
Yeah.
So my point is that when you readjust for the Chargers' defensive line being good, and then the Patriots having had a weak schedule, you're then kind of roughly in around even ground where running game and run stopping kind of become a little bit more equal. And I think that makes for a very interesting game.
Yeah.
So you end up with the potential of this like very low scoring game. So I'm actually going to adjust my score prediction down to.
I mean, what is it? I think it's like the over under on this is like 46 points or something.
Yeah. So I'm going to go low. I'm going to say
that high.
I'm going to say that this is going to be I'm going to go 21-17 Chargers.
Wow. Okay. This game's weird, man. This game's going to be weird.
In fact, no, I'm going 19-17 Chargers.
Okay, 19. Okay, I'm crossing
because
that out.
I think that the New England Patriots are going to need to lean very heavily on their run game. That's going to inevitably then decrease their scoring potential just because that's the grinding style of football. So that's where you get into like field goal ball, right? Where it's like, we're going to take the field goal. And the other team's like, please don't score the field goal.
So another thing is this.
So that's where I'm at.
The Patriots give up opening drive touchdowns, I guess, like all season, but they've still won.
Pretty much every game.
Yeah, but they still win. I think they're the fourth ranked offense, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong about that, but they're a really good offense. They're going to get some guys back on defense. It's going to be a really tough game.
Yeah, this is not a game. If you're a gambling person or whatever, this is not a game where you want to bet your house on it.
No. This is
tough. Either freaking direction.
And my biggest fear is like I hope there isn't just some stupid flag at the end that just like gifts one team or the other. Like that's like a big nightmare for me.
Yeah, that shit needs to stop.
I mean, look, he's got Fishing Master
game
talking about Diggs going off. Like, I could see Diggs having himself a game, but I also could see Hunter Henry having a game.
I could see freaking Stevenson having a game.
Yeah, I could see all. My biggest thing is Hunter, just due to the zone aspect. You know, if Minter plays quarters and too high safety, he's going to want to keep everything in front of him, right? And Drake May has shown that he can still attack. He still will attack the quarters and the zone. He'll still try to go deep. That's where Diggs comes into the scenario. Yeah. But where I see it is the Chargers have been weakest against tight ends this whole season. We're good against wide receivers and running backs, and we're weakest against tight ends and weakest against running quarterbacks. May can run, and Hunter Henry, and they even have Austin Hooper. So
isn't Robert Spillane freaking hurt?
He's coming back. They're all excited that Spillane will be ready to roll.
Okay, I wasn't sure if because that's going to be a difference maker for you over the middle as well.
Yeah, they're excited about
that dude.
Yeah, that's the guy that I kind of wanted when he hit free agency. I was surprised. There's a few Raiders I think that are on the Patriots right now. I know Spillane's one. I think there's a couple more. I think there's some like offensive linemen, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Thayer Munford one of your guys's?
Yeah, Munford.
Yeah, he's over there.
And then Trayvon Merrick is over on the Panthers, freaking damn near leading the league in interceptions.
Yes. But look, we get Denzel Perryman. He had a 2-game suspension, what I thought was complete BS. For some reason, the Texans guys don't get suspended, but he does. The Texans have one of the dirtiest players in all the league, but Denzel. So I'm going to get Denzel. He'll get back. Looks like the defense should be primarily healthy. Dante Jackson did get like his ankle or knee kind of rolled up on and gets Richie's Broncos. But he's fine. He could have went back in the game. Who covers Stephon is going to be interesting. I think it might be Dante Jackson, maybe.
I do have a prediction for this game, though. Derwin James is going to have 1 pick and 1 forced fumble.
Man, that'd be great because
that's my Derwin James freaking. This dude's gonna be freaking up for it. He's gonna be freaking jazzed. I'm telling you, dude.
Look, there's 2 guys, Nav. Khalil Mack has never won a playoff game.
No.
And he's not getting any younger. Like, this is probably it's either this year, and then I've heard about rumors about him going somewhere next year, going back to the Bears. I'm not sure.
Isn't this his 10th year? Next year would be his 10th year, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, be right back. Okay. So look, they're going to turn up, but I'm sure Vrabel's going to have his guys turned up. It's going to be a chess match. It's going to be who blinks first, who makes a mistake, who does something stupid, who starts taunting. Now, we do have a player, Tier Tart, who I'm a giant fan of. I hope they re-sign him, but he's been doing some dumb things. He's been doing a little extracurricular. He's been kneeing guys. He's been punching guys. He plays ball nasty. He's a nasty D tackle.
Bayou just said something right there I was thinking about too. How do you do max protect without max protect? So
this is interesting that he said that because Tucker Fisk was put on IR like a couple weeks ago, but knowing that the playoffs were only like a couple weeks away, it was like a strategic thing. He's back at practice. He's their tight end, fullback, hybrid, extra O-lineman guy. Him coming back will help protection and the run game. Will Dissly's been kind of a little better. Now, our rookie, Gadsden, who I think is going to have a big game, better not be dropping balls because he can equally get over on the middle of the Patriots defense, even with Spillane, even with those guys, but Spillane's probably going to lay the wood against him. So,
he can, but is the thing.
I'm glad that he's looking like he might be coming back. I think that's extra protection, extra help, but I'm not going to disagree with Bayou Raider. about that.
So,
yeah, Max.
So Richie said, what if the Patriots they're not getting anything going on their normal freaking what they're going to do? And Josh McDaniels says, okay, we're going to go I formation. We're gonna just pound the football. Cool, gotcha. So the retort for the Chargers could be if they are just like straight up just cover free the entire time, not letting anybody, or going straight man to man or whatever they may be doing. You go to a 12 personnel, now freak Justin Herbert should be able to stand in there all day long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I
can see for their Patriots, Nav, I can see them. If I were them, I'd be running to the outside. I would be running to the outside. You can gash the Chargers on the outside. A lot of teams can get gashed on the outside.
This is one of those games I would never even put $1 on for fear of losing.
This is why I'm having trouble even with the score prediction.
I just looked at all the matchups and I'm sitting there going, okay, if everybody keeps doing what they've been doing, the Chargers look like the better team on this matchup because the Patriots haven't seen what the Chargers do on either side of the ball.
Bayou, I don't think it should. As of right now, the rain should stop. So, but if it's raining during this game, that's gonna suck. It'll probably suck for both teams, to be honest with you. I mean, they'll probably just grind it out running, but
and this dude, Thick, you just said right there, 23-20 Pats or 23-20 Chargers.
That's that's right. Flip a coin.
So only reason I'm putting 20-20 or 27-17 up there is because I just know that the Patriots offense cannot deal with that freaking type of onslaught as long as Herbert is clean.
Yeah.
If he's clean, they're fucked unless they make a huge change.
Yeah, they'll have Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez will probably be on QJ if I had to guess. And then they've got some other good guys. To me, this has to be a Ladd game. Like,
Ladd McConkey has to be big.
You need to get him going. You need to get him involved. He's dynamic.
No, I think this is a Keenan Allen game.
I think Keenan Allen will have freaking their cornerback one on him all day. Keenan Allen hurt people.
They're already calling Keenan Allen washed. I've heard it like 3 different times from the Pats guys. He's washed. He's old. Sure, fine. I get it. I mean,
Rob Gonzalez will be on freaking Keenan Allen until proved otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, there's another guy. We got Trey Harris. I could see him. In there mixed. I like his hands. He's probably the only one that isn't dropping balls really. No, yeah, I agree. Like the fact that they call Keenan Allen washed, I'm like, okay, cool. When we need a third down, like Chargers are one of the best teams on 3rd and 4th down. One of the top teams in the league on 3rd and 4th down, and it's
actually currently ranked 6th in the NFL.
And that has to do with Keenan Allen.
Sorry, DZ, what was your score prediction for your game?
Dude, I just said it's a hard time. I kind of like what is it, Vichin? I kind of like
23-20.
Yeah, really old school. It's an old school game. Oh my god, man! I can't pick. I look. You know who I'm rooting for. Obviously, I want them to win. Like that's my deal. I'm not going to pick the Patriots to knock us out, but I wouldn't be surprised. We're playing at home, Foxborough, Sunday Night Football. Drake May, the leading MVP. All that stuff. But
that's Stafford.
Nav, that's my pick. But Nav, he said something that perked my interest is Jesse Minter's zone, from what I've been told from like opposing like team fanalists, like analyzers, is it's an exotic zone, and they're saying that May hasn't seen that before. But the thing is we played them last year, and I think beat them like 40-7 or something like that. It was like we beat them down. Completely different team, obviously. But another funny thing that I think it should be bulletin material is Drake May said he never met Justin Herbert. He's like, I haven't met him, but I heard he's a good guy. I heard he's like he's a good football player. I'm like, you played him last year and shook hands, and you guys.
What a fucking dickhead!
I'm like, are you being serious? I'm like, you've already become a masshole this quickly. Like,
I mean, dude, you're a rookie this year, even though you've been in the league 2 years. Shut the fuck up, bro. Damn it! I threw the F-bomb again. Damn it!
I worked for like this in my 20s. I worked up in Boston, all throughout Massachusetts for a while. So I got to be up and close and personal with call them massholes. They're an interesting breed of fans, man. They are a passionate fan base. So this is
New England fans seem to me like they're equally as aggressive as Philly fans, except without the violence.
That's probably true. Yeah, they get violent. I've seen it firsthand.
But like Philly fans are here, and like the New England fans are here, right? Like in terms of violent actions. Yeah, in terms of violent actions.
One fan base can be trashy and destroy things, and other fan bases equally violent in a different way.
Yeah. They're just verbally violent and trashy, right? So I actually see the New England fans as being more aggressively verbally violent, but less aggressively physical violent.
Quick story. You're gonna want to hear this. You're gonna want to hear this. I was working in Boston. We're working on a street there called Newberry Street, which is like a famous street in downtown Boston. It's where all like stuff is at. I'm working with this guy, born and raised somewhere in Massachusetts or wherever. Working with two guys. They are diehard Patriots, diehard Red Sox, diehard everything, right? They lived in LA. They're out traveling, working with us in Boston. So we're sitting there, and it was like a break, because this used to work for Fox Television in my 20s. And they come down the stairs and they light up a cigarette, and they're like looking across the street. And I see him like point to his buddy, and he's like pointing across the street. And I'm like, what is he pointing to? And he's like, you see that effing douchebag over there? And I'm like, what are they? What? Why are you saying that? Like, what? And they're like, look at this guy. He had a New Era flat build, brand new Boston hat on with like the sticker. How they saw that, I don't know. They wore like ratty Boston, like just whatever. They're like, first of all, it was the first Southie Boston. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. That's a whole other
Southie versus yeah.
So these guys literally started screaming at this guy across the road, calling him a douchebag, you POS, we're gonna come over there and beat your ass, take that hat off, you poser, like all this stuff, just broad daylight, in the middle of everybody, just they're PAs. I'm like, dude, you guys chill the F out, dude. Like, but that's how crazy psychopath fans these Boston guys are. They're calling out one of their own because they think he's a poser because he's wearing a nice hat.
Because he's got a brand new hat on. And of course, the true fans are guys that have the old school hats that have been through the ringer. And that's the only way that you're going to know A from B, right? I trust me, I've seen all that crap here in Canada too.
It was interesting. I was like, I got a whole new different respect for you guys. And then Southie's a whole nother story. But
yeah. So interesting score prediction, DZ. I think that's interesting. I think that Nabman, you had 27-17. I had
19-17.
I had 19-17 after my adjustment because I think this is gonna be a slugfest of sorts. I really do. And then,
I hope they turn it into a slugfest because I could see the Patriots being explosive. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the Patriots could get cocky and try to pull out the like we think we're just better than you, and I think that they're going to be exposed. Like I'm going to be honest, I think if they pull that, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered by the Chargers. If they are smart, which like Vrabel is no dummy, and
No.
McDaniels, as much as he failed as a head coach, is wicked good. That's a Boston phrase for you there. Is wicked good as an OC. He is in like that upper echelon of offensive.
And then remember, fellas, they picked Harbaugh over Vrabel.
Yeah,
just letting you know, because Vrabel was like in his third interview, and they went with Harbaugh over Vrabel. So Vrabel's got to feel a certain way. So there's that as well.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is going to be a really cool game. I had 19-17. You had 27-17, and you're 23-20 for your Chargers. So we have a universal win for the Chargers, although a squeaker, if we're going to be honest, in terms of scoring.
No, okay. Let's make it an ass whooping. Let's punch the Patriots out of there and get them off that whole fucking. We're back.
I know we're going, but do you guys agree with this? Since they're the second seed, the pressure's all on them. I'm like,
yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
I'm 50-50 on that.
No, I do. I think the Pats have a lot more pressure on them than the Chargers do. Although I think if you're going to be honest, within the AFC West circles, I think the AFC West circles, like let's be honest, DZ, you and I are plugged into the AFC West circles like nobody's business. Like I think, and Nav, sorry, like I'm not trying to discount you. I'm just saying that DZ and I roll within the same groups. Okay, I am on the Chargers side of the things too. Like Bolt Bros and I, like we're chatting regularly. Like I got a whole bunch of other guys in the Chargers side too. And the general consensus within like the totality of the AFC West circles is the Chargers are no joke. Like they are a legit team. The fact that they made it to where they're at right now in terms of a record with the injuries that they have on their team is legit. Like that is that is legit. You are a legitimate team.
Does it catch up with them? That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
this is where this scares me. Do their injuries catch up with them going against what looks to be like a really healthy Patriots team?
But DZ, it's a character thing.
That's true.
The Chargers' character is we're gonna do whatever we got to do to win a ball. Because we're hurt. You know what I mean? We got to do everything.
They're great and grimy.
What that is good coaching. That's good coaching.
It's going to be interesting. I've said that like 20 times.
I agree. That is good coaching. That's exactly what that is. That is a head coach that knows what he needs to do to win.
I'm very nervous because these are both really good teams. And
don't be, bro. I got you. I'm telling you, Patriots and done. I'm sick of them saying we're back. I hate that shit. I hate it.
The Patriots ruined a lot of people's childhoods, and they're in my 20s with that Bill and Tom.
Ruined one game for me for sure.
It was bad.
Well, anyways, I mean, actually,
lives in infamy.
Look at you guys all get to sit back this week and just relax.
Funnily enough, it was actually a Pats game. As I've said a couple times on the show now, or in my other shows as well, it was actually a Pats game that turned me into a Broncos fan.
Really?
Yeah. So, one of my exes was a Patriots fan, and we can forgive her for that, I suppose. And so we went to like a massive sports bar there in kind of closer to Toronto for where I live here. We drove into kind of the big city. They had this like massive wall that was like just a huge, like basically a movie theater in a bar, where a sports bar, and they had it was the AFC game, I think, where it was between the the Patriots rather, and the Broncos. And it was like, this is a while ago now. This is like, we're talking like well over 10 years ago now. actually probably closer to almost 20 years ago now. And so the Chargers and Broncos were on the big screen, and it was a huge screen there with like the projector screen and the whole bit, and there was, it was great. And I remember watching the Pats, and the Pats were trying to get all cute with everything, and they were like, double trick play screens and like all the things and all the stuff. And this was like in the earlier years of McDaniels and whatnot. And I remember looking at that saying, okay, that's like all fluff and stuff, and that's great. And I saw the Broncos, and everyone in the bar was like cheering for the Patriots. And I'm looking at the Broncos playing, and I'm like, they're kicking the crap out of this other team. I was like the Broncos are beating down the Patriots. Like they are actually the more gritty team out of this. The Patriots may have a few guys that are like really good, and that's fine. And I can concede that part, but the Broncos were actually the better team on the field. They just had a couple guys that were missing that could compete with the Patriots, and they were within a few points of the Patriots in terms of that game. I think it was maybe a 4-point game or a 3-point game, something like that. Either way, it was a fairly close game, and the announcers kept on saying, the Broncos have no business being this close. And it's like, sure they do. They're kicking the crap out of them. You can just see it. Like they're grinding the Patriots down in terms of style. And as a rugby player, grinding is generally the way that you win games in the rugby pitch. So I gravitated towards that style of play. And that's how I became a Broncos fan. Like is that style of play, that like smash mouth, run the football, grind the team down with like aggressive defensive play and that sort of thing. And so to me, that's huge. Like that's a great way of winning football games, because you're playing strategic. You're not playing flash whiz bang kind of, sports. And, yes, my team didn't win that game, but, I became a fan as a result of that. Literally that moment, I was like, I like that team. Who are they? And I started going down that rabbit hole. But anyways, now, man, let's go 10 minutes here and go right into your head coaching stuff.
Oh boy. Okay. let me go over here right quick.
We should say like, who would you want, and then who do you think?
Well, I mean, John Harbaugh is not on my radar as an individual. I think the general consensus across the nation is we want to get young at head coach.
That makes sense.
So that being said, I'll come back to what you just asked me. Okay. So here's the interviews we have throughout this week as just before we started this. Tonight was Davis Webb.
QB coach for the Broncos.
QB coach for the Broncos. So what is that interview? Is that an OC interview? Being a quarterback coach? Don't know. Okay, what is that interview? Don't know. Now, it's important to point out quite a few of these interviews are for number one seeds that have a bye, so that they can see the coaches now.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the other one is somebody eliminated. Matt Nagy, OC for the freaking Chiefs.
Yeah.
Interviewing on Thursday. Okay. The Davis Webb one is a question mark to me. I was like, wasn't even on my radar. And then also Thursday's Vance Joseph. And before you call that a Rooney Rule one, you can't, because Patrick Graham is going to have an interview for head coach as well, which is the current DC, our current DC. So you can't really go Rooney Rule with that. So there's purpose to that.
I mean, Vance has been there, done that. So that's legit.
Right. Yeah, it's legit. So people are like, well, that's a Rooney Rule thing. Well, not really. Patrick Graham's in the building, and usually your DC, if he hasn't been fired already, is going to get interviewed for the head coaching job regardless. So the Rooney Rule's covered in-house. It doesn't even matter. So I don't put any stake in that. And I don't believe in the Rooney Rule anyway. It shouldn't even be a fucking thing. It should be on merit and all this other stuff, not the color of your skin or where you come from or none of that shit.
But this is the NFL after all.
Right. So on Friday, Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak is going to be interviewing with them on Friday. What I have not seen is where Cliff Kingsbury is actually interviewing from the command.
I just saw that he is getting an interview with somebody. Let me see.
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. Where? Oh, I moved it. He does have an interview with someone, but the way that all went down was kind of weird too, because initially Kingsbury said he wanted out, and then the commander said that they moved on from it.
Yeah, but didn't they fire both their coordinators?
Yes.
That just got them into like a divisional game the year before.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow.
Bad football.
So you understand, last year we damn near had Kingsbury. If we would just gave him a 3-year contract because he wanted 3 years, and we would have had him as head coach. Instead, we ended up with Pete Carroll. Just so you know, that's the wild card is Cliff Kingsbury. So now, those that are available. John Harbaugh. So they put these things in order, which kind of irritates me because this is Raider Wire.
Okay.
Which is affiliated with the Raiders, right? So top candidate, John Harbaugh, Stefanski. We already talked about that, right?
Right.
Brian Flores, number 3, Clint Kubiak, number 4. I think that's a very skewed way to put that. I would say Clint Kubiak, Jesse Minter, those two would be my top 2.
Do you buy into the thing that Flores might be getting blackballed from the league? Like, he's in the league. He's obviously with the Vikings, but
there's a clear reason why that was, though. Because it was so he was in Miami, and there was a lot of tough guys stuff going on as a head coach. It was a learning experience for him.
Yeah.
Now, I firmly believe Flores will be much like Josh McDaniels. Fantastic OC, shitty head coach. You know, would I have Flores in the building with the Raiders as a DC? Absolutely. I just don't think I would on a rebuild. Like in a rebuild situation, I just don't think the dude's gonna have that kind of patience.
No, he would probably chew a couple guys out, and he would,
and do the wrong thing on camera, and then next thing you know, the NFL's freaking finding him and suspending him, and he gets fired. Right, exactly. So let's see, mentor Chris Shula, the Rams defensive coordinator. Yeah, I can see that, but you're not gonna get your hands on him until the playoffs are done. And then Jeff Hafley's another one, defensive coordinator for Green Bay. I don't see that at all. And then Vance Joseph, I can see why they chose the interviews they chose, because these dudes have a little bit of time off before they have to play again. The Chiefs obviously have a lot of time off, just like we do. And then Kingsbury was the other one. And that was Fox Sports list right there.
All I'm getting from Kingsbury, Nav, is I'm hearing Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'm hearing there's buzz with Baltimore. And the thing is, I've heard with Baltimore
Yeah.
is they want to revitalize Lamar. So
Well,
anybody can do it, probably Cliff with his offensive scheme.
That's true, but he's also tried to be a head coach before.
Yeah,
he's also going to get Lamar killed, and I mean that
he's
literally.
Well,
because that's what happened with Kyler too.
Yeah.
So
I'm seeing that he could probably go with a lateral move. People are thinking that
he may
just laterally OC somewhere else.
There's not very many that would do that, but it's pretty obvious he wasn't happy in Washington.
And then I could. What about Dayball? Nav, what about Dayball?
I want nothing to do with that dude.
Right. Okay. All right. I mean,
he runs old school freaking concepts.
Mm-hmm.
There's no RPO in his life. I'm not a. He's a quarterback guy, but the thing about it is, here's what it's going to come down to with the Raiders. There were two steps that needed to happen as soon as the season ended, and it happened. One, coaching staff's gone. And now, granted, they're not all gone yet, but they're gonna. Okay. The next one is we have never had a director of football operations. Within 24 hours of that game, we have both. Pete's gone. We're looking for a head coach, and Spytek has been named the director of football operations. Something I've always screamed, we're the only freaking place in the world that doesn't have a freaking dude that's directly connected to the freaking owner as an operations man. And when a GM does that, ask Howie Roseman how that works.
Yeah.
So it's those two things happen within 24 hours. So that makes me very hopeful. And it's also been said now, I won't even add this into the steps, but that it was said, Mark Davis flat said, Spytek and Tom Brady will be in search of the head coach together. That's, to me, is now put a freaking a stamp on it. That these two dudes are responsible for our head coach. So what's that do for Mark? It says, it's on you now. You're no longer.
It gives him a buffer, actually, is what it does.
Yep. And Spytek, you're no longer a rookie GM. So now I'm asking you to freaking take over more control and freaking do the football shit that I don't know.
Now, real quick on that too, and this is, I think, very important. We talked about Rodgers early in the show, so let's put a bow on this, right? Like let's wrap this in a neat, tidy bow and pull those strings. Is we saw your head coach not play a guy who showed that he can play in a game, and your GM was obviously clamoring to try to push him onto the field.
Yeah.
So I think what that does for you as a Raiders fan is it should actually give you a tremendous amount of confidence that your GM and director of football operations has a pretty good handle on talent evaluation, amongst other things.
Yeah.
And the question now actually is not actually on Spytek. I think that Spytek has put to rest any like I have questions, like, you know what I mean, like sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and then there's other times where it comes out in pressers. Spytek was saying it without saying it, and I basically got what I needed from that presser. And I'm not even a Raiders fan. I just got that from the presser.
I'm the same.
I'm like, cool. I figured it all. I figured it all out right from that press conference.
Yep.
And
no question.
And so Spytek has a vision for the team. And I think Spytek and Brady are closer aligned than they are further apart.
Yep.
And I believe that Mark Davis says, look, Spytech probably told me behind closed doors A, B, and C. And all three, or at least 2/3 of those, all came true. And therefore, because Spytech could predict the future, I want him running the show.
Mhm.
And now Brady and Spytech, because Brady was in lockstep with Spytech probably, Mark Davis is saying, I think I found my guiding light, my North Star
Yep.
for my
Yep.
Las Vegas
There's no
Raiders.
question.
And I think that's totally fair, by the way.
Yeah,
I think
and
that's a fair analysis of the situation.
and that's why I mentioned it here. That to me was huge.
Have you heard anything about Stefanski yet?
Yeah. Thing about it is, the firm belief to me is I don't think any of the head coaches that have been fired are going to make it to the Raiders, just because I think their ideology is we need to get young in the coaching.
I mean, he's kind of young. I mean, he was two-time coach of the year guy.
I mean, shit. Harbaugh's 63, and that's 10 years removed from Pete Carroll. So it's kind of like I think it's kind of like you don't even come close to that. You just go get a young guy, because the ones that are winning now are the young head coaches. Liam Cohen, you know what I mean?
So
Jim Harbaugh's a young head coach. To be honest with you, he's the younger brother of John Harbaugh.
I'm looking at like betting odds. Supposedly, the best betting odds for the Raiders is Brian Flores. He's got the best odds right now, 2-1.
I know.
With the next is Clint Kubiak, 4-1.
Well, here's the thing. So either Brian Flores or Jesse Minter, either one.
There's 1, 2, and 3.
Right. So if those two were selected as head coach, both of them can bring Josh McCown. Both of them can do that. Both of them have ties with Josh McCown.
Philip Rivers is in there too. I think that's pretty hilarious. Rivers becoming the Raiders head coach would have a lot of head spinning. I'll be honest.
Raiders head coach. See, that's just silly shit right there.
True.
I would bring Rivers in as an OC. I actually think Rivers would make a tremendous offensive coordinator. He is, first off, he's shown to be gifted in terms of the mental acumen of the game. I think he's shown a tremendous football IQ. Even in his games that he lost with the Colts, I don't think anyone is actually putting any of those losses on Rivers. Rivers basically almost won them those games at 44 years old as a quarterback at the NFL level.
Literally off the
couch. Too.
Off the couch is actually an understatement. It was literally off the couch.
Yeah, he was like sitting, got a call. He's like, what?
Dude was like 265.
Yeah, he's looking around. I'm tired of doing laundry and watching my grandkid. Yeah, man, I'll be free for a little bit.
But the fact that Rivers was able to be like, yeah, I'm good, I'll step in, and looked NFL ready like the next day.
He looked bad.
He wasn't terrible at all.
No.
We've seen worse QB play this season.
Yes.
I would have took him over Geno the very first game of this year.
Right. But that says so much, right? Like, and we can get right down that rabbit hole, because I'm quite certain, Nabman, you and I are like in lockstep on this, which is like the today's NFL quarterbacks, because of the rules of the game and the way that those rules have changed in today's NFL, they're just not learning the things that they need to learn to stop doing stupid crap. Whereas Rivers and Rivers, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Flacco, and these other guys, they all came into the league when like hits over the middle were a thing.
Yeah.
And like they was like a big thing actually for some of those guys. And even Tom Brady, I don't know if you've seen some of his interviews, as much as I hate him as a Patriot, like as a quarterback, and the
puts
word
out
hate
some decent content from time to time.
Like exactly, like I hate him as a New England Patriot, but when you actually hear him speak like on camera, I was like, I hate the fact that I agree with him is my general sentiment from when I hear him speak. I feel dirty the fact that I actually think that he's actually right. Is today's rules in the way that they are in the NFL, they're not lending themselves to quarterback development, because the quarterbacks of days of old, like the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Manning's, the Ben Roethlisberger's, Aaron Rodgers, even like
John Elway,
all those guys, they had to learn the game and actually understand how to read defensive coverages properly to avoid getting their receivers killed. And as a result, they were able to elevate their games to such a level where, I mean, Elway, I think, is probably beyond a point where he could do enough to do enough. But I think, we saw Rivers, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Manning probably could likely step in for a good number of teams and be better than the rookies and or 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year guys that are in there now, and they would still be better than those dudes for sure, like hands down. And that is a problem for me as a fanalist here, because what that tells me is that the NFL has failed these players in the NFL, particularly the quarterbacks.
I think it's not. You can't put the blame on the NFL entirely.
Yes, I can.
You got to go look where they come from. The college NIL is ruining college, in my opinion.
No. I disagree with that.
I don't think what we have in the NFL right now has been affected nearly as much as it will be.
No, what the NIL is doing is it's giving a sense of entitlement to the players that are in the league, and
that's not wrong.
I think that's fair. Now, where I disagree with you is what the NFL rules have done with the hits over the middle and these kind of like blindside or what I'll call defenseless receiver penalties that we're seeing in today's NFL. Is what it's done for the quarterbacks is it's allowed them to just like willy-nilly throw over the middle of the field with no consequences. They do not need to actually read the defenses. They can just simply play the game knowing that if their wide receiver is turned a certain direction to the defensive player, that they can throw the ball in their direction.
Are you talking about hospital balls?
Correct. Correct. Exactly. Like we called them hospital balls, right? Like you and I, DZ, are like within a year of each other in terms of age. Nav, I'm going to be honest, I actually don't know your age, but I suspect that we are not that far off. Sure. Like, but the point is that we speak of football like it was, we'll call it days of old. The collective
we're curmudgeons, I guess.
Okay, so Navman, you're a little bit older than I am by a little bit, and but nonetheless, I have been told that I am much older in terms of mental mindset than I actually am in age.
Cold weather, weather,
probably.
That'll do it too.
Yeah, but the end of the net result of this is actually it all ties together in a neat and tidy bow. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, while he is the lesser of the two Mannings, is still like better than a good percentage of the quarterbacks in today's NFL. Like these guys had to learn to read the defense that was before them to ensure that their wide receivers were not sent to the ER because they were going to get slaughtered over the middle of the field. And yet all of these quarterbacks were able to work the middle of the field and get guys like Rob Gronkowski into the Hall of Fame. And make no mistake, like dudes like Rob Gronkowski and guys like Antonio Gates and guys
Tony
that are
Gonzalez,
Tony Gonzalez and other guys,
Shannon Sharp.
they worked the middle of the field like nobody's business, but they had quarterbacks that had the mental ability to assess the defenses that were in front of them and dissect them at a level that today's NFL quarterbacks just simply don't do. Now, there are a couple of them that can, okay? Like I'm not saying that skill set is totally lost. But what I am saying is that skill set in today's NFL is becoming incredibly rare. Like as in like rare, and that's a problem. Like
I mean, I think what we're seeing with young QBs coming out, and I'm not saying all of them because some of these guys are pretty good, but I would say for the majority, it's like it's their, it's like their first read isn't there, they're taking off, they're using their legs or something like that, or
it's like where the that mindset is. So when IU played Penn State, there was a throw that Mendoza was about to make over the middle to Stockton, and he didn't, and he ended up throwing the ball away. Dude was open, and then guess what? There was a flat. Just because he looked at the freaking receiver, Penn State freaking linebackers freaking destroyed his receiver over the middle.
Right.
And at the end of the game, Mendoza says, yeah, it was a great throw to win the ball game at the very end, but the one I would want to take back is eyeing down Stockton and getting him hit like that. Even though that actual play was what won them the football game. You know what I mean? He's like, I didn't mean to look at him because I knew he was over there. I knew he was being double cut. I knew he was over the middle. He goes, I need to get better at that. That's kind of shit that when we talk about the first pick and everybody's like, can't take a quarterback because we don't have offensive line. We don't have all this other shit. I'm like, dude, but when you have the dude, you get the dude.
Correct.
That's one thing I want to throw the nation right now. If you have the opportunity to get the dude, he's the dude.
I think if you look at everybody who's in the playoffs,
I mean, it's all here and here, dude. The dude's got everything.
Somebody put a stat up for all the teams in the playoffs. I think it's like first round quarterbacks. They're all first round, high end picks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, that's a valid argument for Raider Nation is,
yep.
Look, I've heard where it's maybe trade back, maybe this, build up.
Come on, man, you can't. And, but again, it's going to come. I'm going to be the dude that tells you what's going to determine all of this. Every bit of it is who the head coach is.
Yeah,
that's going to be the determination. We're going to find this out probably in the next 4 days. And my assumption, it's Clint. If we're getting quarterback number one, Clint Kubiak is coming to the Raiders. That would be my thing. If nothing else, is Jesse
my comment to you. Yeah, my comment to you is Clint Kubiak has got the Gary Kubiak style of offense, which is the outside zone. He is directly descendant from his father, who is direct descendant of Shanahan, who is the outside zone scheme guy, right? We are of an ilk that we both remember those sorts of things, right?
Yes.
And so the point here is, I'm going to tell you right now, full stop, period. This is very important. You need to sort your offensive line in advance of the draft. So I'm going to tell you,
we saw what Chicago did was probably the best case scenario for Caleb.
But the thing is, Chicago did that the year after they drafted Caleb.
That's true. And then
So,
and we'll get to that. Justin didn't inherit a good offensive line, and Tom Telesco's like, dude, I gotta protect this guy, man. I saw what happened to Andrew Luck.
right.
By the way, Herbert has been hit more than Andrew Luck to date, so there's that.
Right.
So they're just cursed in that, but they've tried. They're trying with the tackles and bringing all these guys.
We're just in a unique situation where we have all that cap space.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where, whatever coach that Spytek, Brady, Mark Davis want to get, we have the allure to do it. We have all the cap space. We have the number one pick, whether it be trade back or get your quarterback, whichever one it is. My guess is if Dante Moore loses this game this week, my guess he goes back to Oregon. If he wins the ball game, I think he comes out in the draft. I firmly believe that he will have more stock in the draft next year than he does this year because there's just not a lot of quarterbacks this year that are going to go in the top 10.
I keep hearing next year.
I think it's the other way around. I think that Dante Moore, he needs to show that he has the ability to do the thing. Yeah. Except I think that he is going to be a challenge long term in the NFL. I actually see Dante Moore as being a guy kind of like Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
I think Kyler Murray,
except a lot bigger.
Sure, you can go that route, but he's still not huge. That's like saying like a dude's a midget, but he's a tall midget, right?
Kyler Murray's like what, 5'8"? It doesn't take much.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, but my point here is this though, right? Which is Mendoza's a guy that's got the prototypical size that you want for a quarterback, and he's shown that he's done the right things from a mental mindset perspective, that he would be a reasonable guy to take take that risk on, right? Like in terms of like, can he be the guy? Can he develop and can he do the thing? You need to have proper coaching behind it, and you need to have proper coaching staff behind that guy to develop him. So I think you need to go Mendoza because, frankly, I think in this draft,
as a rival too, it pains me. I'm like, yes. And I'm like, do I?
Why is it even a question?
Yeah, get him, surround him with a good head coach, and then invest in your offensive line via the draft and via free agency. And maybe you have to skimp out on one side of the ball or one position or whatever. But look, I think one thing that Raider fans need to understand is this is essentially a rebuild, and growth takes time.
Correct.
So the impatientness of the fan base needs to relax a little bit, like they had with Pete Carroll going into everybody. When Pete Carroll came, they're like, we're gonna. I saw people saying we're 11-win team, 10-win team.
What me was it?
But that's just what I'm saying. I'm like, but say you get Kubiak, say you get Mendoza.
I was expecting 7.
Just enjoy the growth that you're going to get. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Who knows? You go out there, you get 7 wins or something, 8 wins with Mendoza. That's and you still have great draft capital going into next year. It's just going to be this building. It's just going to be this get it rolling.
Right.
The foundation's getting stacked on.
Right. And DZ, I don't understand the risk people are talking about. It's not a risk. We're the worst football team in the NFL. It's not a risk. We can get the best quarterback in this draft. You get him. It's not a risk.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Well, so is it a risk? Yes.
No.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you why. So was Andrew Luck a risk when he was picked?
No.
Okay. How did he work out for the Colts?
Great, until he got hurt and couldn't
go. Didn't invest in the O-line for him.
Correct. Right. And so now what I'm kind of getting at is you need two things for that quarterback to succeed, right? You need the quarterback to do the right thing and be the right guy. And I don't think either of us on this pod are going to say that Andrew Luck wasn't the right guy for the Colts, right?
Right.
Like I think we can agree. Like, can we unilaterally agree on that?
Yeah,
we gotta have the right coach.
Yeah,
we gotta have the right coaching, the right front office, and all that to make shit right for him.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Right. And so my point being is that it's more than just the right guy for the job, so to speak. I think Andrew Luck was the right quarterback for the Colts, but I think the Colts didn't appreciate the succession plan that they had in place there between Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was a special dude. He was literally like a unicorn that they had at their disposal.
Yep.
And frankly, they blew it, right? Like, if we're going to be honest, they completely blew it as a franchise with Andrew Luck. And as much as it pains me to say this out loud, and it's tough, I'll do my best to get it out, but my thoughts are what they are. I want the Raiders to actually be competitive within the division, because I truly think with where the coaching is within the AFC West, with the talent that we have in the AFC West, that we could honestly and truly be where we thought we would be at this season for the next 3 to 4 seasons at least, with our coaching staff and the talent that we have here, that we will literally have the last in our division be probably better than most playoff teams, even if they don't make it. Right, you know what I mean?
That's what we expected this year, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so my point here is that you need an offensive vision, you need a defensive vision, and you need the right personnel to keep your quarterback safe and secure. So am I saying that you're going to tank right away? No. Am I saying that it's not going to have an immediate bump? No, I think that once you get the right dude in place, that you immediately go up 2 to 3 games or 4 games as a win total, simply because that quarterback immediately gives your team a bump, because they're just that damn good. Like, it's just a simple fact. Like, they're just better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the point being is that your organization, like as a whole, needs to progress forward with that quarterback. So like Arizona is actually a good example of this. Kyler Murray was actually a very good quarterback coming out of college and could have been a much better than he actually was. But Arizona is actually a trash organization, and there's a reason why Vance Joseph moved on from them as fast as he did. Right.
They're equal to the Jets as far as
and so
they destroy young players.
Right. And so you want to make sure that your team doesn't fall into that category. And
Richie, I don't have any control over that. All I'm trying to tell you is that if you have the opportunity to get the dude, you get the dude, and then you spend that $100 million plus that we have to protect the fucking guy. Yeah. Then you worry about the defense afterwards. You worry about defense afterwards.
Look, Nav, my point here is this: is that AOC showed.
I understand your point. I get your point. Don't treat him like Andrew Luck. Got it.
Yeah. No, but AOC was originally seen as a guy that had legit potential within your team, and frankly, I certainly didn't hear that sentiment within other segments of your fan base, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh, no. It's because it's the best thing we have.
No, and that's totally fair. I'm not saying that I assessed AOC in the same regard as other members of your fan base did.
Right.
I'm saying that members of Raiders Nation assessed AOC as a potential franchise quarterback. Like, they looked at him and said, like, he can be the guy. And the point being is, I think Mendoza can be a franchise quarterback. Now, the question is, can your franchise elevate to allow him to become the franchise quarterback?
I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, when you have the opportunity to get the dude, hopefully the franchise can.
Right. And
you can't not get him.
I agree. And as an example, the Chargers are this close to elevating their franchise to being worthy of Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're this close. Like right there. You know what I mean?
We're about to find out how close.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And I think that's a good
wish we didn't have the worst F&O line in the whole league. That'd be great.
No, but
hey,
I think that's a great exit for the show as we go on and looking.
Go Chargers, man! Go Chargers!
He sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger right there.
Let's go! Yeah. Go Chargers!
Go Chargers! Go Chargers! Go!
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, man.
Patriots. I want nothing more than a 1-game exit from them. Come on, DZ. Talk them up. Let's go.
Dude, if I could, I would be there. I would be in Foxborough right now. Like,
so I'm actually torn on that one because the Patriots have had one of the biggest single turnarounds of any team ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever. And I'm not sure I really want them getting a great draft pick because my concern with them is under Vrabel's leadership, I am legitimately concerned with their long-term success because I think they can be a problem for
a foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I want nothing more than for them to have crappy drafts going.
And I joke about Drake May, calling him Timu 10, but I think he's great. I think he's fantastic. He's a fantastic quarterback, and I'm like, the Patriots didn't have to wait long. I'm like, give me a break, bro. But, you know.
Richie, I'm not sure that's the single best turnaround ever. Last year, the Commanders was pretty epic.
Yeah,
and look what happened.
Good point.
Just saying.
Yeah, but the difference here, Nav, is the Commanders had a single turnaround under a rookie quarterback. What Drake May has done is in his second year, Drake May's in his second year, right?
Yeah.
Whereas
he was hurt last year.
Who?
Drake
May got hurt last year.
No, but my point here is that the Commanders quarterback. So let's look at like all-time great quarterbacks, generally speaking, and I'm just going to simply reduce to a single sample size of one for the argument of what I'm trying to make here. And I'm sure others will.
I'm not sure what the argument is, to be honest with you.
But look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's rookie season was crap. Yeah. He did not play particularly well. He had
3 years.
He's
crap.
No, but even in his second year, Peyton Manning had a pretty decent win total.
Reminds me of Josh Allen, kind of.
Right.
Yep.
And then eventually Peyton Manning turned it around. But what Peyton Manning ended up doing this second year is he ended up playing much better. He had a pretty decent win total. And he still had some quirks in his game. We'll just leave it at that, right? He had some quirks in his game. Whereas yeah, exactly. Whereas what we saw from Jaden Daniels is Jaden Daniels had a tremendous rookie year, which is like the exact opposite of Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning looked like crap in his rookie year. And then Peyton Manning was like upward trajectory from there, right? Whereas Jaden Daniels had a tremendous rookie year and has like gone way downhill from there. What we've seen from Drake May is, yes, he got hurt, but at the end of the day, his second season, which is like, and I don't want to make this comparison, but I'm very concerned that we're going to see a little bit more of this, is Patrick Mahomes sat for his rookie year and then killed it going forward. Drake May got hurt in his rookie year and is now on a potential like Patrick Mahomes-esque like trajectory here with the situation that he's in. Yeah. And I think that's a fair overall look at the situation, right?
It is. I mean, he's literally, him and Matt Stafford probably nobody else is even close to them being the MVP.
Stats wise, right? Yeah.
Right. I mean, so what I'm getting at is the Commanders had a great first year and a crappy second year overall, if you're going to look at it objectively.
Yeah.
Whereas Drake May was hurt in his first year, but then is literally on fire his second year in the NFL. Like,
kind of feel bad for the
14-3.
Commanders because this year they were riddled with injuries in key positions.
Well, and isn't that crazy? I mean, I know this is outside of the AFC West and all this other stuff and the AFC in general, but Cliff Kingsbury asking to walk away from the freaking Commanders after that, there's got to be something else going on up in there. Has to be.
Yeah, well, he's probably looking at around the league and looking at the Commanders as an organization and all like.
Yeah, but he was brought in there under, pretty sure, at least a 3 or 4 year contract for them guys. I don't know, but I mean damn.
It's weird. We're seeing like this coaching carousel in the NFL, and it's reminding me of
weird with Kingsbury.
College. You just said exactly what I was about to say. It's reminding me of the college. You're seeing this.
We never used to see this in the NFL. We would see guys. Yeah.
No, you're seeing this differentiation between organizations and how they're run.
Yeah,
and
it was like
you're seeing these like almost like a class system start to emerge from the NFL, where some of these old teams where the old owners are aging out, Steelers, Giants, Jets, etc. Sure, the ownership is solidified in terms of like the family members being the primary ownership group and all that sort of thing. But what you're seeing is the kids just don't give a crap like their parents did. and what you're ending up seeing is that the kids are treating it as a business purely, whereas the parents saw it as like a state of being.
Right.
Like where they like lived, eat, and breathed the organization that they were a part of. And they had a pride of ownership and a pride of success and other things of that nature. And I don't think the kids have the same sense of pride in the product that's on the field. They just see it as like, we'll win anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, and that's where I said it was a big deal on the steps that I said need to happen like super quick. There's like 5 of them. And 1 and 2 happened in 24 hours. Spytech named director of football operations was huge. That was big. Making the GM the director of football operations, which, oh, by the way, the Raiders have never had. And every Raider fan, bring it on in here. Try to tell me who the director of football operations has been other than the owner in our existence. None. It's been Al Davis, been Mark Davis, been blah, 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 whoever, you know what I mean? Those 2 owners, that's all we know, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is it takes the football knowledge out of Mark Davis's hand. He doesn't have to know football. You know, all he can do is say, hey, guys, did you see this guy? Fuck yeah, we saw that guy. You know what I mean? That's all you got to say. But when that happens, that's a big deal because this is the first time in our history we actually have a director of football operations. That is big to me.
Moving on up.
So I think that's a great segue to kind of close out the show. The Raiders have solidified their organization in terms of leveling up. That's great. Look, I think a solid AFC West allows each AFC West team that makes it to the playoffs and even further into the playoffs gives them more credibility. And frankly, regardless of who ends up getting better or worse or whatever the case may be, that's a good thing for the AFC West as a whole. And at the end of the day, that's the purpose of the show. We're here to talk about the AFC West. That's why we're here. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining us this evening for the Wild Wild West podcast. We will be back next Wednesday to talk about the Chargers game and to see where they landed versus the New England Patriots. My Denver Broncos are in a bye week this week. I intentionally did not go deep into the Broncos this week. We are resting and getting players back healthy like J.K. Dobbins and others. we're going to go right into that next week on next week's show for my Denver Broncos. And we will talk about the result of the Chargers-Patriots game, as well as, Nav, we may well have some news on your Raiders and coaching search and things like that as well. So we'll be able to get into that at the same time.
No question.
Let's put a pin in it for today, ladies and gentlemen. If you have questions after the show, you thought we missed things, whatever, get angry at me down below in the comments section. If you have other things that you want to bring up, leave them down below. My X handle or Twitter handle, whatever you want to call it, Richie Richie there on X. DZ, his Twitter handle there is below. Nav, I think you're 93 Nabman as well on X. Have questions for each of our teams, reach out to us. Happy to respond. Happy to engage with you as fans of the show. And ladies and gentlemen, until next week, where the West Side's the best side. Peace!
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.